rotation. If I had to guess, it would be right around here, right just near Claudeville. Seeing that rotation right here just toward the southwest of Dobbins and also toward the west of Peters Creek. We're continuing to see this rotation right here where the red meets the green. That is where that rotation is that we're continuing to track, and I'll kind of point that out for you. Again, this is mainly in Patrick County that we're continuing to track this. This is right near Dobbins too. Hopefully I am saying that correctly. And this is all in association with the line, of course, that's moving very, very quickly toward the east and toward the northeast across the area. I'm going to work to continue to gather details on where exactly this continues to be moving, as I am in direct contact with the National Weather Service. This is going to continue to kind of push toward the northeast. Again, some hail in association with it. It's pushing east at around 40 miles per hour. So this is a very quick moving system as it continues to push through. It's our only tornado warning as of right now across our area, but we did actually just get a new severe thunderstorm warning across the region too. So more on that in just a second as I zoom out. Again, that was just issued for portions of Guilford County here at home and also in Forsyth, parts of northern Davidson too, from this very strong line of thunderstorms. And we still have that tornado warning just toward the northeast of Charlotte and continuing to track that tornado warning in Patrick County as well as in Stokes. For right now, that's going to continue through around 10:30. It's pushing to the northeast at around 40 miles per hour. So let me kind of show you, there's that rotation, and I'll show you where exactly this is going. So I can pull this up on the map for you toward the east. Let's go around 20 miles or so at around 40 miles per hour. Stewart by around 10:06 coming your way in the next 5 minutes or so. Patrick Springs by around 10:10, likely going to be introduced into that cone, and then likely going to be more toward Critz by around 10:13, 10:17. Stella outside the cone, but could be added over toward Craig. So go ahead and get in your safe spot, regardless of whether or not you're in this cone. If you are in the direction of the cone, it's better to be safe and go ahead and get there while you have that ample time to prepare. We have seen a lot of reports so far along this line of not only winds, but also some hail too. I wanted to kind of show you some of these across the area, especially over towards Charlotte, where they've had some wind up to around 50 to 53 miles per hour at the Charlotte airport. Boone hail size up to around ½ an inch or so. We've been continuing to monitor this line over the last several hours. We also have Ed Matthews on standby with me that's been continuing to watch this all morning long. What are you seeing, Ed?
Well, you had been focusing on the tornado warning. I want to focus on the severe thunderstorm warning for just a minute to let everybody know the counties that are included in this. And this runs until 10:45 this morning. Davidson County, Forsyth County, and Guilford County, severe thunderstorm warning. But there is a possibility of a tornado, and this is part of the line that we've been tracking pretty much all morning long as this continues to be tracking on to the east. So our friends in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County, especially the western areas of the county around Louisville and also into the Clemens area, be on the lookout for threatening weather. Now again, severe thunderstorm warning, but at any time we could see a tornado warning issued for this particular area. So far, nothing has been indicated in terms of rotation on the radar, but there is a threat of a possible tornado. I'm going to move the radar around just a little bit. Of course, there's our tornado warning until 10:30 for Patrick and Stokes County, Patrick County, Virginia, and also Stokes County here in North Carolina. Rotation observed by Doppler radar. Also, strong storms moving into the King area, also into western areas of Stokes County. Mentioned western Forsyth County into the Louisville and Clemens area. Winston-Salem, be on the lookout for threatening weather over the next 30 to 45 minutes as all of this continues to track on to the east. Also, Guilford County, a part of this from the central part of Guilford County to the west. So far, no threatening weather in Guilford County yet, but this has been issued as part of this severe thunderstorm warning as this line will move through Forsyth first, also Stokes County. We have to be mindful that we'll likely see some strong storms and severe storms up in Rockingham County. The situation that we have when so many counties are included in a particular warning, they're not all listed on the scale here. So I have to actually look at the radar and see what the county outline is. And we can see here that this includes Henry County, Virginia, again for the severe thunderstorm warning, and the central and western areas of Rockingham County. But the greater threat right now is moving through Patrick Springs, of course, with our tornado warning, and then to the south, our severe thunderstorm warning. Western areas of Forsyth County, also into western areas of Stokes County as well, as these storms continue to track onto the east. But the only tornado warning we have right now is up along the Virginia-North Carolina border. That includes Patrick County, and I'm going to send it over to Claire and see what she has.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ed. This all, again, is associated with a strong cold front right now building into the Triad. All severe thunderstorm warnings, as you're seeing here in the yellow boxes, extending from Charlotte all the way up through the Triad and into southern parts of Virginia, too. 2 tornado warnings right now, too. We've been emphasizing this system for the last several days and trying to point out just, how dangerous this system will be, and we're seeing it right now, the impacts of it. This 1 tornado warning over towards Charlotte, and for us, we'll zoom in on that tornado warning still. That's in parts of now just Patrick County. Surrey County has now just been X'd out of that warning, but still in a severe thunderstorm warning, all of Surrey County, so make sure you are in your safe place. This tornado warning is going to be all the way until around 10:30. I'm going to show you where that rotation that I'm seeing is. Again, this is a very quick moving system. We get different we did get different radar updates within 90 seconds or so that'll show us a different radar scan. So over the last couple of scans, I'm still seeing a little bit of rotation over here. This is just toward the northeast of Peters Creek, kind of in the triangle between Peters Creek, Gilbert Mill, and Stewart. That is where I'm seeing the most rotation. That's actually just shifted here in the latest radar scan as I'm speaking over to be just south of Stewart, heading over toward Patrick Springs within the next 10 or 15 minutes, moving very, very quickly. So this is your time to get to those safe places. Again, I'm going to go over some tornado safety while I have you here. Some of those tips, you want to go to the lowest level of whatever structure you are at. Take cover in a small central interior room and remain in shelter until this storm has passed. We'll continue to be on air with you until the warning is over with. So we'll continue to keep you posted on that. Tornado safety, other areas to be. Remember, you want to be in the lowest level away from windows as well. Some of those safe places, you can grab a helmet and put on shoes during a tornado warning, and the safest place to be is in that basement and interior room. Going back here, again, with this line moving through the area, I want to emphasize, it's all part of this bigger system moving across the area. So I'm going to kind of time out this line all across the area. I understand, us in Guilford County, we're kind of already in that severe thunderstorm warning, or at least the western half is already in it. But this is going to continue to push our way over the next several hours. So it's not just going to be us that are under the gun with these showers and that tornado threat, but for much of the eastern counties of our area too. Right now, we're really seeing the brunt of it pushing toward the east. Greensboro here in the Triad by around 10:40 if it continues our direction at around 40 miles per hour. If it goes quicker, could get here even sooner than that. Reedsville around 10:46, just after 11 o'clock over toward Burlington, and Durham just at around 11:40 or so. So we're going to be tracking these storms for the next couple of hours, anywhere from around now to 1 p.m. We'll be seeing these severe storms moving through. Going back to that tornado warning here, that's still in effect in Patrick County. Again, that's until 10:30, so for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to zoom in and see if I see any more rotation or if I'm kind of seeing it move out with the scans. Honestly, I'm kind of seeing a little bit more along Highway 58, just toward the southwest of Patrick Springs. So I'm going to zoom in on that, or kind of show you where I'm seeing that rotation. If you live in Patrick Springs, go ahead and get in your safe spot. There is a chance that this could be extended even more eastward. So for our friends that are right outside of the cone, or right outside of the warning over toward Critz, go ahead and get in your safe spot too, just in case. Again, this warning is going to be for the next 20 minutes or so, so make sure you get where you need to go to ensure your own safety. It's not common that we do get put under a level 3 or a level 4 out of 5 by the Storm Prediction Center. So seeing us in a level 4 to 5, including us in all of eastern counties here just toward the east of our area toward Raleigh, that is a very big deal. Expect this to continue really over the next couple of hours. Here's what I think our radar will continue to look like. So likely going to be very busy the next few hours until around 12 or 1 o'clock. As the system moves through the area, then we're going to start to see scattered showers, not so much of a severe threat behind the system. Plus, we are going to begin to cool off as well, seeing 60s turn back into the 40s as we step into tonight. And that's actually going to be our highs for the next couple of days too. So not only is this a very strong system bringing in severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, but also bringing in a very stark temperature contrast from what we're seeing now, likely into later this evening and into the next several days. A couple of wind gusts that we've seen across the area too. I mentioned that one over at the Charlotte airport at around 53 miles per hour. So far up to around 20 to 35 miles per hour. Likely going to see much higher ones in the actual severe storms that'll move through the area. Currently at 32 over in Greensboro. So let's go over to this line that we're continuing to track across the state, bringing in several severe thunderstorm warnings across the area. Again, 2 tornado warnings across the region too, one over toward uptown Charlotte and one over just on the northern edge into Virginia in Patrick County too. But there could be a chance just over the next couple of hours that there are several more even in here in parts of more central Triad as this continues to kind of push toward the east. It's moving fairly quickly, so a lot of these tornadoes can spin up fairly quickly too and also fizzle out, like I showed you in some of those last radar scans of that tornado warning over in Patrick County. Some scans will show a little bit more rotation, like over toward Patrick Springs. To me, as of right now, that rotation looks a little bit more broad, which is a good thing. We don't want tight rotation because it means there's a better chance of it actually making it all the way down to the ground and causing damage. Right now, looks like it's going to be a little bit more broad as of right now, and that's over Patrick Springs. And I'll show you exactly where I'm looking at, likely over here along 58, Highway 58 that is. We're going to continue to track this. There is a chance that this could get pushed east, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that too. Just got the latest update, so looks like it's broadening a little bit. We also have Ed Matthews here checking it out with us. What do you think, Ed?
Well, you've been showing the rotation there near Patrick Springs. Let's actually go to the radar. Of course, damaging winds and also some very heavy rainfall along with thunder and lightning. But again, this is just for Patrick County in Virginia, and that runs until 10:30 this morning. Rotation was detected by Doppler radar. I want to go through and we'll stay on the radar here and show you what's going on in areas of Stokes County. Danbury, be on the lookout for some threatening weather. Now, the part of the tornado warning that was issued earlier that included Stokes County, that part has been canceled, but nevertheless, some threatening weather just to the west of Danbury. This is tracking on to the east. Pockets of heavy, heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and wind gusts that could go easily over 60 miles per hour. You don't have to have a tornado to have those straight line winds associated with any severe storms. We move farther south in Clare, we just have a tornado warning that has just been issued. Parts of Davison County, Forsyth County, Guilford County, a tornado warning now in effect. That includes the city of Winston-Salem and the western half of the Guilford County area. And I want to look at the wind radii and see if we can see. You see there over areas of Forsyth County there, near Winston-Salem and to the north and northwest and to the west of Winston-Salem, the potential of rotation there. Claire, I'm going to send it back to you for your perspective.
Yeah, of course, Ed. You know, I'm kind of looking at some of the data that the National Weather Service is putting out with this new tornado warning. If you're just now joining us, this is in Davidson County and Forsyth and also parts of Guilford County, too. And I can kind of zoom out so you can see exactly where this warning is right now for all of our friends in Winston-Salem. This is a newly issued tornado warning. Likely going to be with us until 10:45. If it gets expired early, we'll continue to let you know, but we're going to be on air with you this full time while these warnings are in effect. We still have that other tornado warning in effect for now what was Patrick County and now is being extended now into the counties of Franklin, Henry, and also Patrick County and the cities of Martinsville until 10:45 as well. I want to go over here to this newly issued warning that's now in Winston-Salem and kind of see exactly where this rotation is at. Again, this is all in association with this very strong cold front that we've been keeping an eye on over the last several days. Likely, again, pushing through very, very quickly. At latest check, this is actually pushing through at around northeast at 55 miles per hour. So this storm is moving through very, very quickly. We're going to likely see some spin up tornadoes possible and also likely going to be seeing some fizzle out as well. This is a look right here off of Winston-Salem. Right now we're seeing lots of heavy rainfall. Nothing that I can see on the sky cam, just very low visibility.
Western part of Guilford County, there's nothing going on yet.
This is exactly where I'm seeing that rotation as of right now. And I'm going to zoom in on that with you. Right over toward Hootstown is where that rotation basically, I see it really kind of a little bit more prominent. Hootstown just toward the east of Atwood is where you're seeing that red meet the green. This is the rotation that we look for within storms, likely that gives the warnings to be able to see, that gives the tornado warnings to be able to be possible. So I'm going to kind of zoom in and see where exactly this rotation is. If I call out your road, you are right under the gun with this rotation. I'm talking over to friends at Newcastle Drive, at Pope Road, as well as in Burke Mill Road, Ardmore Road. Again, this is Hootstown that we're seeing this around Ardmore Road, Swaim Road, really seeing the rotation, especially over Burke Mill Road, Bethel Methodist Church Lane. If you are in any of these locations, make sure you get to your safe spot. This is where that tornado warning really is, just toward the north also of Swaimtown and just west of Easton View. This is pushing northeast very, very quickly, likely going to be a problem, especially over the next couple of minutes as it pushes over toward Kernersville. We're going to have to keep a close eye on this. So let's kind of see, let me kind of show you exactly where this is going. If I can get my computer to work, we're going to be tracking this over the next little bit. Again, the rotation is right over toward Hootstown, likely pushing over toward Kernersville and north of Wahlberg. But if you're in this warning, go ahead and get where you need to go. Zooming down here, this is where that rotation is towards Sedge Garden. We're going to see this kind of push toward that location. But if you are in this warning, make sure you go ahead and get in your safe spot. This is all again in association with this front that's pushing across the area. We still have that tornado warning over on the northern border and parts here of Virginia. Ed, I've been keeping a close eye on it. It looks like we could have a couple of other squirrely lines as well.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking at the wind velocities here, and you were talking about areas north of Winston-Salem, Bethania, and Walkertown as well. But let's pull out and see how much this particular tornado warning covers. It covers really pretty much most of Forsyth County and the central and western areas of Guilford County. And there's no threatening weather in Guilford County yet, but this activity that is over Forsyth County and Winston-Salem, of course, is tracking on to the east. And we go and look at the radar. Of course, we see the tornado warning goes all the way until 10:45. We'll see if it will be expanded any farther to the west, but this particular tornado or rotation was detected by Doppler radar. And we zoom in, and of course, only a severe thunderstorm warning for Stokes County. We continue with our tornado warning up in southern Virginia for Patrick County, but our greatest concern right now is the stormy weather that's going on over Forsyth County as this tracks on to the east. We are seeing some rotation, especially north and northwest of Winston-Salem near Paughtown, and this will continue to track on and eventually move in to western areas of Guilford County. So Guilford County and also western areas of Rockingham County, be on the lookout for threatening weather. Now, our friends up in Rockingham County are not under a tornado warning. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning, but we'll be watching western areas of Rockingham County as this line of storms continues to track on to the east. Just be on the lookout for threatening weather, again bearing down now on Winston-Salem and Forsyth County, and also into Stokes County, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Claire, that's the way it looks on this end. Everybody should be weather alert and go to their safe place in these areas where these tornado warnings have been issued. Do that now.
Yep.
We've talked about it in recent days. Know your safe place and get there now if you're under the warnings.
Yep, some good advice there, Ed. I think even if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, you got to get to the safe place and be ready to go to the innermost interior part of your house, away from those windows. Get to the lowest part of the floor of the apartment complex that you're on. Again, this isn't just us that are dealing with these severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. This is much of the southeast. You want to get away from windows and basement if at all possible is going to be the best spot here. This is kind of the map. You don't want to be on the top floors. You don't want to be in rooms with windows. And of course, you also don't want to be outside. So kind of zooming in here on our area in the Piedmont, severe thunderstorm warning is going all the way from Columbia down in South Carolina, stretching through North Carolina into portions of southern Virginia. We're currently tracking 2 tornado warnings right now, one right now in Forsyth County and another that will shortly be exiting Patrick County in southern Virginia. Zooming in on this tornado warning that's impacting portions of Davidson, Forsyth, and then shortly going to be impacting parts of Guilford County too. So rotation has since been just a little bit moved, but it is over toward Easton View is where we're seeing the majority of that rotation. Zooming into, that is exactly kind of the location we're looking at. This is actually just toward the south right now of Winston-Salem. But if you're in the alert itself, the actual warning, go ahead and get into your safe space, regardless of the location I'm pointing at for that rotation currently. Again, it is over toward Easton View, kind of zooming in on where I'm seeing the highest kind of rotation is over and places over toward Rosemont. This is moving over Easton View, and this is moving very, very quickly too. If you hear your road, make sure you get to your safe place. So this is along Highway 285 near East Clemensville Road, just toward the east of Easton View. And bear with me too as I continue to track the updated radar scans. It'll likely move the rotation a little bit, so I've got to kind of click and drag to tag along with you. Right along I-40 through Easton View and just south of Waughtown as well. This is along North Frontage Road, East Clemensville Road. I'm seeing the rotation East Sprague Street, right along Sink Street, Dudley Street, Mansfield Street. This is where that rotation is. Again, this is just toward the southeast of Southside that I'm seeing the highest rotation, and just over Easton View right now. But regardless of the exact location of where that rotation is, I do want you, if you are in this warning, to get inside and get to that interior room or get to the lowest level possible. Over the last couple of hours, we've had a couple of lines that have continued to kind of show some rotation, and over the next few hours, we likely will continue to see a couple more warnings, not just for us, but for counties east of the area too. And it's all with that line continuing to push into the area. Some storm reports over the last 12 hours or so continue to show the high winds coming in, also the hail. Charlotte Airport just had that 53-mile-per-hour gusts within the last hour or so. Boone coming up on half-an-inch sized hail. So hail is also going to be possibly an issue with these storms as well. Mainly those damaging winds and those tornadoes, but the less likelier storm threats that could still be a little bit of an issue going to be hail, and I really don't think we have to worry too much about flooding. So over the next few hours, make sure you hunker down, make sure you have at least three different ways to receive those alerts over the next few hours, likely going to be out of our hair by around 1 o'clock or so. Here's a look at Winston-Salem right now, seeing a couple of raindrops on the sky camera. Thanks for propping that up. Doesn't look like, it looks like a little bit of low visibility, but they are in that tornado warning. Make sure you get to that safe place. Likely going to be seeing severe weather for the next couple of hours until around 1 o'clock or so. Some extra clouds, maybe even a scattered shower later on into the afternoon, but by then the severe threat will have really calmed down. Some tornado safety tips for you. Go to the lowest level of a well-built structure. Make sure you take cover in a small central interior room, again, away from windows, and remain in shelter until the storm has passed. We're going to stay on air with you as we continue to monitor this risk with these severe thunderstorm warnings and that tornado warning currently making its way through Forsyth County. Again, moving through Davidson and through parts of Guilford, western Guilford here within the next couple of minutes, within the next 15 to 20 minutes. So keeping a close eye on this. Ed, you got any new updates for us?
Well, I've been watching. I checked out the debris tracker, and I don't see any debris, so that is a good sign. Quite often, if a tornado touches down or a funnel cloud touches down and, of course, becomes a tornado on ground, it will stir up debris, and we can actually track that on Doppler radar. I can't find any debris. That is certainly good news. But as we take a look at the radar, certainly having some gusty winds, damaging winds around Walkertown. Kernersville, be on the lookout for threatening weather over the next 15 to 30 minutes. A good bit of this is moving just to the east of the downtown Winston-Salem area, but nevertheless, still some rain occurring in Winston-Salem. But under the gun right now, heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and certainly the potential for damaging winds would be around Walkertown and also just moving in to the western areas of Kernersville here, and this extends all the way down into areas of Davidson County, but it doesn't appear to be as strong over Davidson County. Likewise, we track to the north. We're still seeing some heavy downpours to the north and to the northeast of Meadows. Again, only a severe, I say only, but a severe thunderstorm warning for areas of Stokes County for wind gusts that may well exceed 60 miles per hour. I want to kind of zoom out and take a look at the radar and see how things are looking pretty much over our area. We've been kind of hyper-focused on what's been going on, and you can see all of this severe weather extends not only from southern Virginia, right through the Metro Triad and all the way down into South Carolina. This is what we've been tracking overnight and through the morning hours as this activity is moving right into our area now. Overnight, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings over parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. Weakened only slightly as this line moved over the mountains, but now that it's moving east of the Blue Ridge, it is not interrupted by the higher terrain, so we're seeing more activity as it continues to move through the area. Zoom in once again. We're still keeping an eye on southern Virginia. Martinsville certainly under that tornado warning, and also the one that's right here in the metro area of the Triad into areas of Winston-Salem and into Forsyth County, eastern Forsyth County, and into western areas of Guilford County. Know your safe place. You should already be there listening to us and watching us on a battery TV or something like that. Whenever a tornado warning is issued for your area, that is the time for action to go to your safe place. And I want to show you another graphic. Claire had a really cool graphic earlier. I've got another perspective here, and I think she showed this one earlier. Of course, you want to go to an interior part of your house, like a hallway. A bathroom is great because bathrooms bathrooms usually don't have any windows. Of course, debris flying, through your yard with damaging winds and rotation in a tornado could break glass, obviously, in your house. So a bathroom is a safe place, an interior hallway, an interior closet is a safe place. But one of the safest places, if you happen to have a basement at your house, go to that basement or the lowest part of the structure that you're in on the ground floor if you don't have a basement. But a basement is certainly a good place. Claire?
Yep, all good tips, Ed. I kind of want to show some new information that I've been looking at over the last couple of minutes. This severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. This tornado warning currently is located right over Kernersville. That's where I'm seeing kind of the tightest rotation within this warning cone. If you are in Kernersville, please hunker down and go ahead and get to your safe place. This is about 8 miles east of Winston-Salem. It's moving northeast very, very quickly. I mean, 50 miles per hour. Let's zoom in on some of the roads that I'm seeing with that rotation currently. This is right across 421 near Talley's Crossing, where I'm seeing that rotation. Timberwood Trail, Woodfield Drive, Hopkins Road, over toward Regents Park Road as well as also along West Mountain Street. Go ahead and get in your safe spot. If you are in Kernersville, this is continuing to push northeast. Will likely be a problem for friends over toward Oak Ridge as this continues to push northeast at around 50 to 55 miles per hour. Likely also going to be a problem over towards Summerfield too. So if you are anywhere in this tornado warning, go ahead and get to that safe spot. We're going to continue to track this for you. Ed had mentioned whether or not we are seeing any debris, and the good news is I haven't really seen much either. If we see debris, that's usually a telltale sign that this is on the ground, likely picking things up from things like cars, from anything, houses, anything that it could pick up from off the ground. But we're not seeing any of that right now, which is a great sign. This warning is going to last until around 10:45. For the next 15 minutes or so, maybe longer if it gets extended. We'll continue to track this for you. Flying debris, that's going to be dangerous to anybody caught without shelter. Get into your safe spot. Mobile homes also going to be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is also likely. Again, this is right over Kernersville, or around 8 miles east of Winston-Salem, pushing northeast at around 50 miles per hour. All in association with this bigger system bringing in lots and lots of severe thunderstorm warnings, not only for us, but for a lot of the southeast. 1 of 3 right now that I'm seeing all across the southeast, 1 over here in parts of Georgia, 1 in Forsyth County, moving into Guilford County too, and that other one that we were tracking earlier moving out of Patrick County, moving out as we speak. But we still obviously are keeping a very close eye for our friends in Kernersville right now that are under the gun with this tornado warning. Right now I'm seeing kind of the most rotation right over Kernersville, moving out of the area, likely going to continue to push toward the east, but it really is right over Kernersville where I'm seeing this. Again, we're in talks with the National Weather Service to, see when and if this will expire early, or if anybody has seen a spotting. If you have any pictures with this storm, any videos, please send those in, and we would love to share those online with us as we continue to bring you updates. It really is right over Kernersville. This is moving very, very fast. Just to kind of give you an idea of where this is going, I'm going to drag this for you, pushing toward the northeast. Let's go over toward Oak Ridge by around 10:49, perhaps even sooner if this storm goes a little bit faster, towards Summerfield by around 11:05. Scalesville continuing into portions of Guilford County at around 11:16. It just depends on how much and how long this storm is able to maintain its rotation across the area. So we're going to keep a very close eye on it. This line continuing to build in. Again, it's very uncommon that we see a level 4 out of 5 for our area by the Storm Prediction Center, and we're within that range. Again, this is going to continue this threat of not only tornadoes, but damaging winds, heavy rain, and lightning over the next several hours until around 1 p.m. A lot of us still in that level 4 out of 5 range, so we'll have to be keeping a close eye on it. It's the damaging winds and the tornado risk that are the 2 big things that we're tracking. Small hail still going to be possible in storms, but not nearly as much of a threat. Likely also not as much of a flooding concern either, considering we haven't seen much of much rain as of lately. Still continuing to get some information by the NWS. They're continuing our tornado warning across the area, which is very justified given the rotation that we've been continuing to track over the last several minutes. Now kind of moving out of Kernersville. This is pushing over toward North Main Street along County Line Road and along 150. Again, this is pushing northeast fairly quickly. I'll show you exactly where that rotation is right here on the map so you can just have a broader kind of view. That is where it is, just over Kernersville, pushing toward the northeast. This is going to be over toward Oak Ridge and over toward Summerfield very, very quickly as well. Again, this is all within several severe thunderstorm warnings, all in a line with the strong cold front pushing into the area. Make sure you go ahead and go to your safe place, even when you're not in a tornado warning, just in a severe thunderstorm warning. Ed, I know we've been tracking this system all morning long, expecting to keep a close eye on it for the next couple of hours. Oh, looks like we also have Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley here with us too to give us an update on what they're seeing as well.
Yeah, he's getting his WSI computer online, and he'll be on in just a minute. But Claire, I do want to bring up, some more good news. The good news is that we've not had any reports of a touchdown of a tornado or anything like that. But I want to say that Bethania, Louisville, Clemens, and now Winston-Salem is in the clear. So the threat, at least for the short term, is over for you guys. We're still looking at some heavy downpours and strong and damaging winds around Kernersville. Some of this is starting to move into western areas of Guilford County as well. Stokesdale over to Summerfield, be on the lookout for threatening weather that is right at your doorstep now. Colfax, be on the lookout for some threatening weather as well, as this will eventually move into areas of Greensboro and central parts of Guilford County as it tracks on to the east. But the current tornado warning is in effect until 10:45. That's about 8-9 minutes longer. We'll see if that will be extended farther to the west. Claire, I'm going to switch it back to you and let Tim come in here and continue the coverage for a little while.
Sounds good, Ed, and I look forward to hearing from you, Tim, shortly. Looks like rotation has moved a little bit from Kernersville just toward the northeast, as this is pushing northeast at around 50 to 60 miles per hour, moving very, very quickly. You'll notice even while I'm on air with you, having to toggle along with each new radar scan that comes in every 90 seconds or so, pushing right now over toward Oak Ridge. So if you hear me, and you live in Oak Ridge, make sure you are in your safe spot. This is pushing toward that location. And it looks like just in the last couple of seconds, a new tornado warning was actually issued. So I want to zoom out a little bit. This one is actually over toward Randolph County and also in Montgomery County. This was just issued within a couple of seconds. This one is going to be active until around 11 o'clock this morning. Whew. A very big cold front bringing in some strong winds, likely going to have this continue over the next several hours with a lot of more severe weather on the way. Make sure you get to your safe spot, not only if you're in this tornado warning, but within the severe thunderstorm warnings that have been continuing over the last several hours too. Tim, I know you've been watching along all morning with us. What else? What new do you got for me?
Well, Claire, yeah, you guys have been doing a great job keeping us updated of all the different warnings across the area, right? And it's kind of a little bit like what we were saying, how when you get a line like this, all it can take is just a little extra hour. This thing didn't do all that much back in western North Carolina, but we've had a little sunshine this morning. Sunshine acts as fuel, it kind of heats things up. And what we're seeing is that those storms are getting a little bit stronger as they move into our area. Now, I've just walked into the building, just chatted with our folks in the newsroom. They have been calling around. We haven't heard of any major reports of damage, and really it doesn't look like very many power outages either. I think there have been a couple hundred here and there, maybe less than 1,000 in Forsyth last time I checked. But overall, nothing major to report just yet. However, this is the time. Minutes count, seconds count. We want to make sure that you are taking the best action that you can to keep yourself safe. And I know it's always scary when you get that push alert to your phone that there's a tornado warning. So hopefully just take us to your safe spot on the phone, and we will be with you until we say they all clear. So I'm going to zoom in. We'll go kind of one by one here. First by first, this is that warning that Ed and Claire have been showing you for a little while. So this is the Forsyth, Davidson, Guilford County. Now, I can't change the counties. The Weather Service is the only one that issues these things. But what I'm telling you, this thing is out of Forsyth County now. So Forsyth County, that storm is out of your area. Davidson County, it kind of never was even in your area, to be honest with you. So now it's moving into Guilford County. This is becoming mostly a northwest Guilford County problem right now. From Colfax up through Oak Ridge, Summerfield, it's knocking on your door too. So if we go a little bit closer, always want to be giving you the street level views. And Claire, as I'm doing this, if you could kind of keep eyes on those other warnings and just kind of let us know anything else that you're seeing when we cut back to you. But this thing is just north of I-40. It looks rather tame right there along by the farmer's market. But here's Highway 68. The storm center is basically right here, north of West Market, not too far from Triad Park. You can see this moving up closer to Oak Ridge, as I said. So if you move farther up here, up by 150, Oak Ridge, Stokesdale, these are the areas that it is looking a little bit stronger. Now, that is just the radar picture. We want to show you the rotation. And I was actually highlighting the wrong spot. So this is the spot if there's a tornado, and we haven't gotten confirmation that there is one, but if there is one, it's right here. So Summerfield, just to the north of you, we have a lot of rotation right now. So this is the area I'm concerned about, and that's actually more concerning than it looked a little while longer ago. So Summerfield, right here, you have some counterclockwise spin and rotation. This is right along, you probably know this area, right where Highway 220, Battleground, it kind of merges with that newer I-73. That's where that thing is right now. I am hearing from the control room that we have some video from, was it Summerfield or Kernersville? I guess this is Kernersville. So this is the storm, that same one, when it pushed by. You can see it on your screen right there, somebody filming. Probably best to stay inside, guys and girls, that when we're in these kind of storms, you want to be in that safe spot. But in any case, you can see kind of that blinding rainfall. What I'm going to do right now while I have you is let's zoom into street level. And remember, any radar image, we can call it as live as we want to. There's always going to be at least a minute, a half a minute delay. So think about this really being more like over here. But this is moving right along 220, right along Highway 158. It's actually pushing into Rockingham County. So if you're watching us from Rockingham County, right now, you currently don't have a tornado warning, but if I was pulling the trigger, I would issue one for you because of what we're seeing right there. So think about places like, I guess Bethania would be, or sorry, not Bethania, Bethany, you would be along the line here next up. And these things are moving really, really quickly. So if we kind of put a path on this, tracking it farther off to the north, we'll be seeing it in Reedsville by the top of the hour, just in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So these things are booking it. Now, if you're watching us from the city of Greensboro, what could you be expecting? Well, honestly, guys, right now there's not a whole lot that I'm noticing in terms of rotation. In fact, it's kind of broken up. So if you're in the city of Greensboro, you might be saying, well, where's the storm? Be thankful. This is good. Guilford County is a big county. When there's a warning, it buzzes it buzzes the whole county. But we're here to help kind of narrow that down for you. And right now, the threat level is primarily for northwest Guilford up by Summerfield, like I was just showing you. We have some lighter rain in Greensboro as well, high point 2. And let's go farther south because remember, this is not the only tornado warning that we are tracking for you currently. Right here, this is in Montgomery. And gosh, you know, sometimes I love the labels, but they can take up a little bit too much space. So I'm going to take the alerts off just so I can show you the radar a bit more clearly. So this storm prompted a new tornado warning. Here's Asheboro. You're just outside the box. This is El Dorado, which is right here in northern Montgomery, pretty close to Baden Lake. So this thing just moved through Baden Lake. Now it's kind of bowing and moving up just to the north of Troy. It'll be crossing Highway 220. I haven't had a chance to read the specifics on the warning text here. This warning does go through 11 o'clock in the morning. It's for Randolph. It's for Montgomery. It's also for our friends and neighbors here in Moore County, pretty much over toward Chatham County as well. But the main information we want to get to you, let me make sure I get that text because I really want to see how fast it's moving. This one is moving at 50 miles per hour. So think of it. These things are moving very, very quickly, which means you don't have as much time as you usually do to get ready or to get prepared. So in this case, let's put some storm tracks on this one. We're going to be putting this out, moving to the north and to the east, about 50 miles per hour. So from Montgomery County, this thing's approaching Seagrove. If it holds together, it would be heading over toward Siler City. So look at here, Troy, in the next 5 minutes. Star, which is located right here in southern Randolph. Coleridge, closer to 11. Siler City, if it holds together, it would be in Siler City by about half an hour. So that's kind of the rundown on the different tornado warnings across our area. And if we look on the wider view, I think it's always helpful to just kind of reset and show you, all right, what are we in for the rest of the day? Boy, this storm has had us worried and freaked out, and schools are closed, and we know all these threats. Where are we looking for the rest of the day? In my opinion, we've been pretty fortunate that so far we're getting this bigger, stronger line pretty early in the day. When this thing moves out, there's not that much behind it. And so we might be able to say the all clear a little earlier than initially thought, which might mean that by 1 o'clock or so, we're kind of resting easier. But obviously we have some nervous moments ahead in the next hour or two as this line kind of transverses from Virginia through South Carolina, pushing on by. But take Charlotte, for example. They had a tornado warning. They got through it, and now they're seeing just some regular old rainfall. So we could be headed in that direction next up. So Claire, you know, as we're tracking this along, it's always busy when there are multiple different warnings to kind of track. So I'm wondering, you know, as I've been talking about those, if you can look at the other ones, and then when you're doing that, I'll kind of do the same. So we have eyes on both of them. That's why we always like to have the whole team here.
Absolutely, yeah. We actually just had that Davidson, Forsyth, and Guilford County tornado warning expire, but there is a brand new tornado warning that was just issued that will now last likely till around 11:15. This is in Rockingham County. Before we get there, I do want to put eyes on this other tornado warning right now that's over toward El Dorado. Some information on that. It's moving very, very quickly, this system, and likely that tornado warning as well. Seeing some rotation with it kind of just north of Uwharrie and toward the southwest of Ophir, over across the area. There's a little bit of rotation right over El Dorado, and we can go over towards Street View on what exactly we're seeing. It has weakened a little bit since I last put eyes on it just a minute or two ago, which is good news. But of course, it could re-strengthen, and we want you to be in your safe spot. So please make sure you go ahead and get in your safe spot. Again, this is the timing on the storm right now. El Dorado right over you guys at this moment. Seagrove headed your way by around 11:30. Jugtown 11:52. And Coleridge likely going to be in your location by around noon. Some other good news too. We use a radar product called our correlation coefficient, and that doesn't mean much to you, but it's one of our ways that we kind of use to pick up debris on the radar. And when you see different colors like the bright yellows and there's some blues sometimes we see on the radar, sometimes it can show us that there's debris being lifted up by a tornado, such as cars, trees, houses, anything like that can send out a pulse back to the radar, and we're not seeing that. So that is a very good sign. Now, zooming in on this other new tornado warning that's just been issued in Rockingham County. We'll kind of work on this. Reidsville, you are included in this warning. I'm working to get some more details on this warning while, of course, we're continuing to track this with you. Again, it is pushing very, very quickly. This is in Rockingham, southern Rockingham County. It's going to continue to push toward the east at around 40 miles per hour. It's located near Bethany at around 10 miles southeast of Madison. So it's going to be pushing east, again, around 40 miles per hour. Let's zoom in and see exactly where I'm seeing that rotation currently. Yep, right over toward Whitty's Crossroads, also toward Bethany is where we're seeing that rotation currently, but it looks like two different spots here have these little notches. So we'll continue to watch that as well. If you are within this tornado warning, make sure you go ahead and get into your safe spot. This system is moving very, very quickly. So as it continues to move through, you need to be ready to get to your safe place, even if just now you are just in a severe thunderstorm warning. So this tornado warning is going to continue for the next several minutes until around 11:15, and we're really seeing it come down, especially over Bethany. Kind of the heaviest rainfall across the area along Highway 65 is where we're seeing it really come down. Again, just to the southeast of Bethany. If you live in Bethany, it's now pushing toward the northeast, away from your area, at least the heaviest rainfall at that. So we'll be continuing to track this for you. Again, this line of showers and storms is very serious, not only for us, but for much of the southeast. Earlier on, even this morning, when the system was back in parts of Tennessee, there were still several severe thunderstorm warnings that spread from Tennessee all the way down through parts of Georgia, Mississippi, and also into Florida. Right now, we're still seeing a lot of those still connected, although there has been a couple of breaks in between these storms that we've been continuing to track. But as of right now, We still do have those 2 tornado warnings in the Triad. Go ahead and get to your safe place. It looks like that warning over in Patrick County has continued to push toward the east with a severe thunderstorm warning, but for us in the Triad, mainly focusing on that one in southern Rockingham County, as well as the other one over toward El Dorado and parts of Montgomery and in Randolph County. As this storm system moves through, we'll continue to keep you updated. Tim, I know you're standing by. Do you have any updates for us?
Yeah, Claire, we're still watching, obviously, this whole line, as you were just showing, 3 different warnings. And if you look across the southeast right now, we are the ones that are under the gun at the moment. This is the spot in the south that right now is kind of getting it. I know this has been a regional event. Basically, everybody from the northeast all the way down to Georgia has been kind of alerted for today. Well, right now, we are the part that is watching this. And I will say, what's changed since yesterday or since even earlier this morning, it seems like things are moving faster. And if I had to take my pick of things moving faster or things moving slower, faster is better. That gets it out of here a little bit more quickly. You don't get quite as much heating of the day. Heating is bad when it comes to showers and thunderstorms. When we do talk about that, that could be a big problem when you cause, think about turning on your oven or something like that. That's not when you heat it up, you have more energy. Claire, looks like my Max box is actually having a bit of a problem, so we're gonna have to go back to you real quick, or we could take some viewer pictures full, one or the other, but I've got to reopen my graphics computer here because it looks like it just closed up. But here we're looking at a bit of a picture. If they can control,
I'm good.
Can maybe tell me what we're looking at? This is a really low-level cloud. That's that Lawsonville cloud. Okay, so this is up earlier in Stokes County. One of the things that kind of amazed me when I was coming into the building just a little bit ago is that the clouds are really low to the ground, and they're also moving very, very quickly. If you look outside, those clouds are seemingly just racing along. And that's kind of where tornadoes and severe thunderstorms get their potential anyway, or that's where they get their winds. Those fast winds, they come from above and then they can bring them down. So Claire, and we're not seeing tornado or anything in this picture, but doesn't that just kind of scream a severe weather day to you where there's a risk and you've kind of got to be alert because these things can form, they can spin, and they can drop really fast, and they can go away fast.
Yeah,
well.
we've been talking about that all morning, how these tornadoes, they can spin up fairly quickly and they can also fizzle out fairly quickly as well. Kind of zooming in to get some more details on what's going on over toward El Dorado with this new tornado warning. Again, this is South Randolph County, really coming down in downpours. Again, even if you are not exactly where I'm pointing at where the rotation is, go ahead and get in your safe spot. This does account for Montgomery County, Moore, Randolph, and also in Stanley County. Where I'm seeing the rotation right now, it has actually moved a little bit more east of El Dorado and over toward Abner. So this is kind of right on the line almost between Montgomery County and Randolph County. This is where I'm tracking that rotation right now, and kind of at ground level, roads that I'm seeing that are right near that rotation, I would say are Flint Hill Road, Horseshoe Bend Road, as well as Abner, Lovejoy Road, heading that direction, Abner Road. Abner, if you are here, anybody in Abner that's hearing this message, go ahead and get to your safe spot. This is where that rotation is that we're going to continue to track. But the good news is I really haven't seen any debris scans over the last little bit to show that this is actually on the ground, picking things up and being destructive. So that is some good news. Now going over back to that other warning in Rockingham County, again, this other one is going to last until 11:15. Could even be seeing some pea-sized hail along with this as well. High reflectivity. Reflectivity doesn't mean much to you, but where you see the darker colors like the oranges and the reds, that's where it's really coming down, and likely where also we're seeing that rotation. So zooming in just a little bit, yeah, kind of continuing to push toward the northeast, right over Monroe Town. Right now is where I'm seeing kind of the tightest little bit of rotation right here where the green meets the red. Likely going to push over toward Reedsville by around 11 o'clock or so, pushing northeast. Likely also going to be over toward Lawsonville after around 11 o'clock or so, and toward Locust Hill just after 11 o'clock or so as well. And again, as this continues to push toward the northeast, we will continue to keep track of it as well. I'm, of course, also getting updates as I'm speaking to you on air from our National Weather Service partners. Looks like that tornado warning over in Rockingham County has now been extended to 11:15, and also the one in Randolph County we're keeping a close eye on too. So here's the whole system in its entirety continuing to bring in showers and thunderstorms. Several severe thunderstorm warnings extending from parts of South Carolina all through portions of North Carolina and into southern Virginia too. As this moves through, also expect that some places could also have power outages. I've seen a couple over in Forsyth County, just on the ladder of around a couple hundred. We'll continue to keep an eye on that for you. Tim.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, we're still tracking the same ones. And just like you were saying, I think actually the one that concerns me the most right now is that one in Rockingham. We were showing you, it feels like just a minute ago that we were showing it to you in Summerfield. Well, now it's already basically in Reidsville. So these things are booking it. They're moving at about highway speeds here, which doesn't give you a lot of time. So what I would be telling you right now, if you are in Reidsville, you want to be in that safe spot. Reidsville has my attention right now. We see a couple things when we look at this line. When just a little storm info for you. When a storm is moving along, if it's like straight up and down in a vertical line, that usually makes it really hard to spin. Once it starts to get kind of squiggly or kinked a little bit, that can allow for some more swirling winds to happen. And we are seeing that throughout Rockingham County right now. So this warning, like Claire was telling you, it's been expanded a little bit and extended a little bit to 11:15 for Rockingham. But specifically, if we turn on the velocity scan, you'll notice this one has some pretty good rotation to it. Here's Reidsville, there's the city of Reidsville, there's Wentworth, and you have your highways right there, 158's just there. So this is the rotation. And remember, whenever we're showing you the radar, and especially on a day like today, it might be a minute old, and these things are moving fast. So think about this as basically being already close to Reidsville. So if you are in Reidsville, shoot, even if you have friends, family in Reidsville, text them, call them. It's the middle of the day. Make sure they're in a safe spot, or at least that they know about this. A lot of people go about their days not even knowing about these things. So it's a really good thing to remember. Just because you're aware doesn't mean the people you care about are. So you can kind of do your part, and they might listen to you more than they listen to me. That's just kind of the truth about it. But we are looking at that rotation coming in really strongly right now. If we zoom in even more closely, this is approaching Sandy Cross Road, Highway 65. That rotation is really specifically right over Irvin Farm Road, Unicorn Road, Boyd Road, these areas in Rockingham County, Penny Lane, just like the song, Penny Lane, right over there. That's kind of where we're looking at. It is likely to pass just to the north of Reidsville. So actually, this border of the tornado warning is not containing the storm right now. It's actually moving just to the north of that red line. So really, you should be alert of this north of Reidsville. Now, the good thing is if this is a tornado, it might be passing just north of town, but it'll be approaching Highway 29 next up. So I'm going to show some updated ETAs for you. Approaching Ruffin by about 11:02. That's in 10 minutes. These things are moving so fast. And then it would be moving over into Caswell County. So Caswell County, you're on deck. You might be seeing this one next. If you are in Eden, you're likely having some strong thunderstorms, but you are not in the tornado warning. I would expect that's some pretty heavy weather for you up there in Eden. Farther off to the north, Martinsville has a tornado warning, but that's just passing east of you. Guilford County, let me talk about Guilford County for a second. There's a break right over Greensboro. So this is just extremely fortunate. North, south, break right over the Gate City. So we're in very good shape, very fortunate in the Greensboro area to kind of be spared right now a lot of this. And what we're seeing on the backside over there in Davidson County, that's regular old rain. I love regular old rain on a day like today. What that can do for you if you get some regular rain is that it can stabilize things a little bit. So one of the things that we see that makes severe weather happen in the first place is the air is going up really fast. When it rains outside, it cools things and it settles the air down and it kind of stops that process. So if we can stabilize, that's why you're in good shape right now in Davidson and Forsyth counties. That's hopeful to get into Guilford pretty shortly. Back to the tornado warnings we go. We're in Randolph County. This does continue towards Seagrove and Ashboro. Let me check the velocity scan. And remember, whenever we show you this, we're looking for reds up against greens. I am not seeing much of that. I am not seeing much of that in Randolph County. So Claire, just holler to the control room if you see anything different, and we need to go back to that one. But I'm just going to spend my whole time right now on Rockingham because I think this is actually really concerning. And I don't like what I'm seeing right now. this latest radar scan. And so newsroom, if you're listening here, we got to be calling Rockingham and checking on this storm, because this is not what we want to see. There's a bit, see how it's a bit of like a comma shape right here? It almost looks, you know, like I said, like a comma. And right now, live updating on your screen here as we look at our live radar, you see how they just reissued the red box? Just like I was saying a couple minutes ago, that red box was not containing the storm, and so it needed to be updated. The Weather Service is on top of it. They've got their A game today, and there is a new tornado warning now. Things happen fast on these days. That's why you got to be watching us for that extended coverage. We can kind of get you minute by minute here. So Rockingham County, new warning for you. It does still include the city of Reedsville. It no longer includes Wentworth, no longer includes farther off to the south. This box should be, you know, gone shortly. It'll expire. But here we go. It's headed up toward Ruffin, and then eventually Caswell County is now going to be included. So to reset, the only counties that have tornado warnings right now, Rockingham, Caswell, that's the same storm. We still have that one down in Randolph, but to me, it doesn't look as concerning as this one right now. Let's zoom in tighter, show you those roads, because that's the best thing we can do on a day like today, is give you those precise locations. We are just north of the city of Reedsville. So there's downtown. Here's Highway 65. Here's Highway 29. You kind of know how this works. That's like the bypass, basically. So here's Scale Street. That's right where the rotation is right now. So let's go even a little bit tighter here. This is Wentworth Street, Scale Street, Madison Street, Market Street, Goldwell Trail, Falcon Road, Stokes Road, all of these areas, you're the ones that are seeing that rotation right now. And sometimes what I like to do, so I'm going to put this rotation tracker on there for you, and I'm going to pull up some maps on my own. So we're up here in Reedsville at the moment, and that storm is really moving. Like I said, it's moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. And if this is on the ground, it could be producing very strong winds along with that rotation. So just to kind of call out some spots, this is very close to the Walmart. There's a Walmart on Highway 14. This is pretty close to that. So if you're familiar, you know, we might not all know the roads. You probably know where Walmart is in Reedsville. That's where this storm is right now. And so that's your rotation right here. I am going to switch over. This is going to look like a big mess to you. It's not meant to be anything other than a big mess. This is just something we look at as meteorologists to kind of see if there's any damage that's already being wafted into the air. So think about what a tornado can do. It can knock down trees, fences, power lines, houses, whatever. If that stuff is getting lofted and thrown around, then the radar can actually see that. And so when it sees that, we see some signals on something like this. I like what I'm seeing so far here. If we start to see any big, bright blue dots or yellow dots, that's something like what we saw back in 2018 with the Greensboro tornado, or all of those kind of things. Those can be big alarm bells that say, not only is this a warning, this is a tornado on the ground, this is doing damage. We haven't seen that so far. In fact, not even with anything around our area. We're not finding any local storm reports yet either, so you know we're letting you know what we're seeing. Just because a storm's rotating on radar doesn't mean it's doing damage on the ground, but it does give us pause, it does give us concern. Just to reset, new severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll be tossing it over to Ed Matthews in a second he can kind of tell us some more on this one. But what they've done is they've issued a big yellow box for Guilford, Randolph, Montgomery, Moore, Chatham, all the way to Alamance. What they're saying is, hey, this is a big line of storms. It is going to that easterly direction, and it's getting a little bit stronger. Take it seriously. They're also indicating a tornado could form in that storm, but they aren't expecting that right now. I'm going to go back and reset to our Rockingham County storm, and I'm actually going to take the alerts off. I know that sounds like a bad idea, but to me, they actually get a little bit distracting when we have so many of those borders. So let's show you here right by Ruffin. So just to the north side of Reedsville, we were telling you about that storm. It looks to me like we're going to have to watch all of this. There are a couple areas of rotation now. So we're seeing, just bear with me, we're seeing two areas that have my attention at the moment. This one right here, and then this one up here now. So a second ago, I was telling you up in Eden, you were in the clear. You are, but this storm as it's just moving off to the east of you, it's starting to spin up now. And that can be a process that takes only a couple of minutes between nothing happening and something happening. So right now, we're still seeing that tornado warning right by Ruffin. Get in your safe spot at the moment, right along Ruffin up toward Pelham next. This one could be the next one. and that's going to head up closer to Danville. That would be the track of that one. The worst weather in the area right now looks to be in Rockingham County, by far, in my opinion. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. Let's put some more arrival times on here for you. Remember, they're moving very, very quickly at about 50 miles per hour. 50 miles per hour, 50. Ruffin, 11:04. Pelham, 11:09. Purley, 11:13. That is for this tornado-warned storm that is on the move in Rockingham County, headed over toward Caswell County. So that's the path of this thing that we've been tracking. And remember, this is the one that moved through Kernersville earlier. Then it moved through Stokesdale, and I believe it was Summerfield, rather. And now it's moved its way all the way up into Rockingham County just in about 20 minutes. That's about as fast as you can drive. It is really on the move quite quickly. It's also very important to kind of tell folks who doesn't have to worry anymore. And if we look off to the west, I love everything about what we're seeing. From Boone to Wilkesboro to Hickory, Charlotte too, all of these areas are not showing signs of strengthening. They're in fact showing that wonderful regular old rain that we would want to stabilize us. Same idea here in Winston-Salem, and I'm going to toss it over to Ed Matthews in just a second, but I wanted to just take a look at our Winston-Salem camera at the moment. We should be seeing just regular old calm conditions. Sure enough, that looks like what's happening. It's a little windy, and I will tell you, later on today, we'll have time to talk about this probably on the noon broadcast. We have a cold front that's causing all this. Later on today, it's still going to be really windy. The temperature is going to drop like a rock, and we're still going to have some crazy weather. But at that point, at least, we don't have to worry about tornadoes. And that's kind of what we like and what we hope to achieve shortly. Ed Matthews, gosh, you've been here, Ed, since about 2 in the morning tracking all this stuff for us. It's moving through right now. What are you seeing that stands out to you at the moment, and what do you think people need to know? So we're having trouble with Ed's mic. And we're going to get your mic on in just a second. But like I was just saying, we're watching these storms kind of pushing through parts of North Carolina. It looks like there's a lot in our area of the state, of course. There's also some over here in eastern North Carolina. But your takeaway from this, and it's my takeaway too, should be that we could be done with this threat earlier than anticipated. In my experience covering these things in the Triad for about a dozen years, many more times they move through more quickly than we expect rather than more slowly. And so this could be another one of those times where it is moving through faster, and that would be very welcomed to us. You don't want to mess with the afternoon. That can be the hottest part of or the warmest part of the day, either way. Controller Rex, you can just let me know whenever Ed's ready, and we'll get over to him. In another case, we'll get back to that tornado warning in Rockingham County. We're seeing it here. When we're doing TV since 2 a.m., we always have to change the batteries. That's part of life. You know that too, just like the smoke detectors and stuff. So here we are, Ruffin here. We are seeing that rotation right here. So it's minutes away, really moments away from Ruffin. There's that rotation for you. Highway 29. So if there's a tornado with this storm, and we still don't know if there is or not because we're not getting many damage reports, we're only showing you what we see on radar. But this is approaching Ruffin, and it's going to cross Highway 29 as it does so, and then move it up toward that Virginia state line. So please take it seriously, be in your safe spot if possible. I'm looking for any reports from the Weather Service in our chat that we have for them here, but it honestly looks like these things are just fast-moving storms, fast-moving, rotating thunderstorms that could produce damage. We're looking here at any damage reports or any debris, I should say. Still not seeing anything, and that's pretty good news. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. I'm hearing we have some sweet pictures to kind of take a look at. This is one from the PTI Airport area. So what we're looking, I don't know why I'm looking that way. I'm looking on the screen here. What you can see, that looks to be a shelf cloud, and that's probably pretty close to the bypass that goes right along PTI as well. Those shelf clouds can really spook in. And we've all seen those clouds. You're driving along the highway in North Carolina, you see that dark, ominous cloud. That can be a sign that you kind of want to pull over and get to a safer spot, right? And that could be what people are seeing right now in Guilford, Randolph, and all the way down to Montgomery counties.
Absolutely. Sorry for the delay. I have talked so much this morning that the batteries in my microphone went dead. So I had to get some new batteries, but we're broadcasting again. And what I wanted to do was update you on a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued just a few minutes ago. And this covers a pretty big geographical area. Severe thunderstorm warning, that goes until 11:30. That includes areas of Alamance County, which are not listed. And we talked about this earlier when they issued these big warning areas that has several counties. Sometimes the name of those counties are not able to fit on this banner here, but I've got it, and I'll tell you who all this includes. Southeastern areas of Guilford County over to Alamance County, Chatham County, eastern areas of just to the east of Asheboro in Randolph County and down to Lee and Moore and areas of Montgomery County. So this covers a pretty big area. There is a tornado that could spin up in this particular area, but I'll zoom in here, and what we're looking at, if you're around Forest Oaks in the southeastern part of Guilford County, some threatening weather is approaching your area. Also, our friends in Liberty in the northeastern part of Randolph County, Ramseur, Staley, and eventually Siler City in western Chatham County under the gun for the possibility of some strong and severe storms. With these severe storms, wind gusts, and this is part of the definition of a severe thunderstorm warning, wind gust over 60 miles per hour. So even though this is not a tornado, certainly straight line wind damage is a big concern with these. And again, the possibility of a spin up tornado in this particular area. Now this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 11:30 this morning. I want to go back up over areas of the southeastern part of Rockingham County. Of course, we have our, we're looking at our storm winds, our velocity here. Not seeing anything too awfully impressive, but nevertheless, and Tim covered this earlier, the tornado watch area, the polygon, has been shifted somewhat farther to the north to accompany the area as we're seeing more of the threatening weather north of the area of Reedsville as well. We're looking over, wow, check this out as we look over the city of Burlington, and I will coordinate this with the radar and see what we see over in Burlington and into Alamance County. But obviously, as we take a look over Burlington, we can certainly see some threatening clouds as we look over the city of Burlington right now. And I'm going over to Burlington. What we're looking at is apparently this activity that's just to the west of Burlington in the eastern areas of Guilford County. You can see that, and this is part of what I was talking about that is impacting areas around Forest Oaks, and McLeansville is being impacted by this as well. So that's what we're doing. We're looking to the west, and we're seeing those really, really dark clouds that are tracking towards Burlington and the city of Elon as well. So again, threatening weather will certainly be moving into those areas over the next 15 or 20 minutes, as these storms are really moving pretty quickly. We talked about Liberty and Staley. Again, the threatening weather is just to your west. No tornadic activity here. Really can't find much in the way of rotation, but nevertheless, a severe thunderstorm warning covers eastern areas of Randolph County into Chatham County. Siler City, be on the lookout for threatening weather over the next 30 minutes. Rock Creek, this is just to the west of the area around Rock Creek. And as this continues to track onto the east. So impacting more and more over the next 10 to 15 minutes areas of Alamance County. Tim, I'm going to continue to look at things and toss it back. What do you have?
Oh, you know, just about the same stuff we've been saying. You know, we are continuing to track all of this, but I think it's really important to note that this is moving fast. I mean, we are talking about storms that are moving very quickly, and for most of our area, the tornado threat is going down pretty quickly. We're going to keep an eye on this through noon and maybe through 1 o'clock or so, but Other than the one tornado warning that we have, we're encouraged by what we're seeing, and I do still like what we're seeing out to the west of us. Before I dive in, I just want to show you something remarkable. How strong is this weather system? We'll take a look back to the west across the south right now. What do we have? We have snow in Alabama right now and Mississippi. This is how strong that cold front is that's moving around our region. The temperature is going to drop like a rock later on today. For us, we are on one of the main lines of the storm right now. The other appears to be up in northern Virginia and Maryland. We obviously only care about our area. Let's get closer into that spot. And we still have, I don't know why we have these two boxes still, but if I could clear them out, I could. We do have a tornado warning that continues for Rockingham and Caswell counties. Again, I can't clear the warning, but I will tell you what I'm looking at as a meteorologist. That storm has moved just across the border. So now it's mostly a Caswell County warning, and it will be a Danville, Virginia problem as well. So these are all this is the area that we're watching still. And again, I like the information on the screen, but I'm gonna take it off just because I think it's a little bit busy. So let's take off the polygons. And let's just look at it as a storm. You can clearly see what's happening, and we have it moving very, very quickly. This is only an hour time, and it's racing across the map, so I better slow it down, and we'll just give you a little bit of motion here. So what you're noticing, you see how it's moving. This is backwards and then forwards. Ruffin going right along Highway 29, right by the border. So if there's a problem right now, it's happening in Pelham here in Caswell County. There is some rotation on this thing. Reds, greens, there's your spinning area. That's kind of what we're looking at. So right along Highway 29, right there by the Virginia state line, right where you start to get on that road and 29 takes a big curve and you head over toward Danville. So that's kind of the areas that we're watching at the moment. I would want you to be in your safe spot, of course, in the Pelham community, as well as, we have a lot of viewers that watch us on antenna up across the border in Southern Virginia. Same thing for you. This is going to extend up that way up toward Danville, and it will be coming to a time pretty shortly where we might not have any tornado warnings in our area. We are probably going to continue our coverage on Plus if that happens, just to keep everyone informed. But this is the worst part of the storm right now, right up here through Danville. There's that line of very heavy rainfall, good amounts of rotation in that spot. As I said, there's also some up that way. We'll load up that Danville camera that we have in just a second. And Control, if you have access to that Danville camera, feel free to pop it up at any time. I just haven't had a chance to load it. Greensboro, let me talk to you for a second. Greensboro, again, some minor miracle here, but these storms really split. The worst going north, the worst going south. That's what it appears to me at the moment. We are seeing mostly regular rainfall at the moment across the city of Greensboro. Very fortunate. We love to see that happening, but it does look like, honestly, not all that bad. Nothing all that bad is happening. However, we are starting to see storms kind of intensify a little bit. In Alamance County, to be more specific. So as we're looking here in Alamance County, Elon, Burlington, this line is getting a little bit stronger. I've heard from some of you on social media, you're noticing, and this means you've been watching throughout the years, you're saying, Tim, I'm seeing some sunshine. That's not good, is it? And usually it's not. On a severe weather day, we don't like to see sunshine. There has been some of that in this area. And so there's probably a good amount of storm fuel to gobble up. You think about, starting a campfire or something. Sometimes you have to add a little fuel to it to get it going, whether it be sticks or lighter fluid or any of those things. Sunshine, heat, humidity, that all acts as fuel, and it can make storms a little bit stronger. We have that in Alamance, so we are going to watch very carefully for you. You have a severe thunderstorm warning along this line. Am I seeing any strong rotation? No, I'm not, and as long as it stays a straight up and down line, we're probably all right. This is the storm that a while ago, and I believe Ed would confirm this with me as well. This is the storm that had a warning on it a little while ago in Montgomery, over by El Dorado. This thing still has some remnant rotation to it, but nothing too crazy, nothing that would prompt a tornado warning. But look at the speed. This line is going to be moving quickly through Alamance, quickly through Chatham County. So let's put some ETAs on the screen for you. Again, I'm going to take the alerts off so we can see more clearly. Storm is moving at about 50 miles per hour. Here it is. Let's push it along. Moving at about north and east. So Burlington, if you're watching, about 11:17. That's right now. So that should be currently in your area or close to it. We'll take a look at your camera in just a second. Mebane, only about 15 minutes from now. Chapel Hill, about 11:40 or so. So those are all happening very quickly. Let's take a look at our Burlington weather camera here. It's on the move. It is certainly on the move. And what we're seeing now is as the storm gets a little bit closer, sometimes it actually looks more impressive when it's farther away. What we're seeing as it's getting closer now, that's the wall of rainfall. You see how the trees are starting to disappear a little bit? That should be that rainfall. And we could actually take this full if we want to and just kind of watch it together. But it looks like Burlington, that'll be something we're going to want to take, kind of check up on over the next couple of minutes. Really the next 20 minutes, I should say. Burlington is going to be one that we're wanting to watch because you're going to be giving us eyes on the ground and just seeing what's happening. So in Alamance County, there's no tornado warning with this, but you do want to be watching and, watching from a safe location. Even if you don't have a tornado warning, on a day like today, it's a good idea to be in a safe spot. You don't want to be hanging out right next to windows. These are not things that you want to be doing on a day like today, of course. And I'm gonna manually move this along a little bit as we can kind of control our camera here. Here's some of those flags kind of blowing in the breeze right now in Burlington. They're whipping, and so there's a visual for you. And again, you can still see, notice how that tree line is in the distance? This is that rain that's just about to hit, like a wall of water in Burlington at the moment. So these are going to be some gusty winds, I would imagine, as we move into that area. Again, you're not under a tornado warning in Alamance, but we are watching a strong, severe thunderstorm pushing your way. I also understand we have the Danville camera available to us. Let's take a look at that. This is in the city of Danville right now. Again, I continue to look in the wrong spot. It's my first day. We're looking up here on the screen. You can see there's that heavy rain, those dark clouds also. You're looking, that's the Dan River in the foreground. And so what you're looking at, it's hard to make anything out specifically. Obviously, some heavy weather is moving in. And let's hang on this for just a second or two, and I'll load up that radar, which still has that warning for Rockingham, Caswell counties, and Danville, Virginia as well. They have updated it since I last showed it to you. I'm going to do my best to make sense of these boxes. There are a couple boxes that are overlapping. But that storm, we're going to continue to want to, go back to that camera. Or this is great. Let's just leave it like that. Here's your rotation right on the south side of the city, just to the north side of Pelham, right there. I'm going to show the radar in just a different way. So right here, your rotation is basically right on the south side of town. So Main Street, Highway 86, right along the Caswell County line. So that's Caswell County, North Carolina. This is just on the south side of Danville, Virginia. Good amounts of rotation there. Nothing super tight, nothing that we've seen create a tornado just yet. And as we're watching, if anyone in the newsroom has gotten any reports or calls or power outage numbers to pass along, just let us know. I'm thankful we haven't heard much of that just yet. That's really good, actually, and no news can be good news sometimes. Let's look closer to Danville. This is your really heavy rain moving in, and that camera, we're looking at it live on screen with you. It's going to only kind of get more intense as we go along. I'm going to go back to our Burlington camera just to kind of multitask as we have these storms affecting multiple areas. And sure enough, this has changed too. This is just a couple minutes ago. We saw the rain was over here by the tree line. Now it's kind of enveloped the foreground. This looks like a gusty thunderstorm. It doesn't look at the moment like it's anything that would down too many trees, but we're only taking a close look at one specific spot of Alamance County. This is a point on the map. This is not everywhere, so it's not to say that this isn't causing damage somewhere, but this is kind of reminiscent of more of a typical summertime thunderstorm. Very windy, of course, yes. Blinding rain, that too, but that in itself doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to cause you damage. But these things are moving quick, so just be in a good spot, a good location. You only have to do that for probably another 15 minutes in Alamance County, and then we should probably be able to clear you fairly shortly. And once we do that, most of our area might be in the clear. And that's kind of the way that we would like to see it. Ed, I'm curious your thoughts just watching this as a meteorologist and how we've been talking about it evolving. How are you thinking it's going along here compared to expectations and where we might be going forward?
It seemed like once the storms got out of the mountains, that they really picked up not only energy and got more severe, but they really started moving quicker to the east. So these are actually moving in maybe an hour or two earlier than kind of what we were thinking, but we were talking about late morning and into the mid-afternoon. But I tell you what, gang, by mid-afternoon, all the severe weather threat may be to our east. We'll have to wait and see. Tim, you were talking about how quickly these storms were moving, something on the order of 50 to 55 miles per hour. I wanted to go back to our storm winds. Now, we're not seeing any rotation here, but what we're seeing is really straight line winds because these storms are moving so quickly. They're moving so fast along with the downdrafts associated with the severe storms, and that's what we're seeing here, kind of an elongated area of straight line winds. We saw the camera over in Burlington with the blowing rain there, and that extends on up into areas of Caswell County. And of course, Caswell County is now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And of course, the northern and northwestern areas under a tornado warning as well. But I thought, Tim, this was very interesting that this showed up moving to the east pretty quickly. This is already moving into the Graham area, and just a few minutes ago it was right near the Guilford-Alamance County line. So again, this is what you have been referring to with these individual storms. Not really rotation here, but we are looking at the forward movement of these storms very quickly, and that straight line wind can be very, very damaging with these severe storms. So we'll continue to watch this as it packs on through Burlington. Things are improving rather quickly, eastern areas of Guilford County, and soon to be improving in the Burlington and Alamance County area as well. That's the wind pattern. Let's jump over and take a look and see what we're seeing on the actual radar itself. And we kind of expand things out. Of course, Danville under the gun with the tornado warning there. We continue with this large severe thunderstorm warning with the storms moving through central areas of Alamance County now. That's what's creating the straight line wind there. They extend all the way down into the Sandhills. Want to mention we're getting some heavier downpours around Troy and Montgomery County as well. That is tracking to the east and northeast. We'll continue to watch that area as well. Tim?
We're still here tracking the storms, of course. I was just putting together a little graphic here for showing folks who is under the gun still and who is kind of getting a little bit better shape. So right now, we're kind of noticing how this line is bisecting the area. So half of us, or more than half at this point, are kind of on the better side, with things improving pretty rapidly. On this side, we're still seeing the severe weather threat continuing. So that would be for Caswell, Alamance, Chatham counties, Danville, Virginia. But basically, Rockingham, Guilford, and Randolph, things are looking a lot better. That's the majority of our area. Farther off to the west, same idea. Let's take this full if we're able to, when we have a second, no rush. But we're still watching Burlington at the moment. And what's nice about this camera is we're actually able to show the wind. Wind is invisible, obviously, but when you have some flags in the foreground, there you have it. So right now we're looking at some wind and some rain in Burlington, North Carolina. This is where that line of storms is still pressing forward and moving off to the east, but the severe weather risk is going to go way down once this line goes away from us. So we're watching this kind of continue to track through our area, moving off to the east. That is in Burlington. I will note the tornado warning is not for you. It's for areas to the north in Caswell and Danville, Virginia. And we're going to find that continuing to push off to the east. I think we have our Danville camera online as well. If we're able to take that at any moment, that would be a good one to watch for also. We're going to be checking up with folks in that area. Obviously, a lot of interest, places like the casino and all these other places. A lot of people in the Triad work there nowadays. Things are looking pretty heavy. So this is a live look at the Dan River in Danville, Virginia right now. There is a tornado warning for Danville, for Caswell County, going through the next 15 to 20 minutes as well. And we're going to be following this very carefully over the next little bit, which is impressive to see. But you can see some cars still kind of driving in the foreground. We have those dark skies too and lots of heavy rain. And I'm going to load up the latest scans here so we can show you the wind motion. One of the great things about weather nowadays is we don't have to guess quite as much as we used to. We didn't always have the radar technology to show you if or not the storm was rotating. But now we can show it to you. So right now we're looking at Danville. It looks like a lot of that rotation is honestly moving past the city. So right now a lot of that spinning motion for Danville, Virginia is pushing just off to the north and just off to the east. So those reds right up against the greens, that's downtown. That's where that camera is that we were just showing you. A lot of that rotation is right over here. So it's kind of pushing off just to the north of the city and just to the east as well, which is encouraging to see. Now, currently that tornado warning box, it still includes Caswell County. I'm not seeing any rotation in Caswell County, which means that most of these storms are starting to push outside of our News 2 viewing area, at least the ones that have had tornado warnings on them. That's really great. That's really great to see. And if you said, could we have any more tornado warnings through the rest of the day? I guess it's possible, but I would bet that we won't. I think this will probably be about it through the rest of the day. And I realize it's only 11:30 in the morning, but from what we're seeing, it doesn't look likely that we're going to see a big flare-up in activity later on today. Never say never, especially when it comes to severe weather in the springtime. These things can change. I do still want you to be on alert, though, for the next 15 minutes at least in Alamance County. We showed you the Burlington weather camera. This is a heavy-duty line of storms, though. And it's approaching in Graham. If you're watching us from Graham, from Mebane, Saxbahaw, these areas, you know, you've been through it. You had a tough year last year with Tropical Storm Chantal. This is, you know, probably storm anxiety is high whenever you have these kind of things. Totally different storm, not a flood risk. We've been in a drought more or less, so there's no flood risk for really anybody with these things. But what it is something you don't want to be driving through. Blinding rain and thunder, probably some really high gusty winds as well. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit tighter, so just to kind of give you the lay of the land. Burlington, the storm's through. The storm is through you in Burlington right now. That's great. Haw River, though, it's right over top of you. This is where that heavy rain is. Mebane, it'll be there momentarily. Where's Graham? We're looking for you in Graham. There it is, found you. So Graham, you're pretty much clear as well. Downtown Graham kind of moved off to just some regular old rain at the moment, which is great. The heavier stuff is pushing just off to the east. So think about over here in Mebane. It's going to be coming up on the busy Highway 40 exits here very shortly. Right there by the outlet centers, of course. You kind of know that corridor right where they're building the Buc-ee's. Over everything just looks like it's strong, obviously, but it's not super intense, and there's no tornado warnings on this, and more or less we're not finding a lot in the way of damage being reported to us. We're not talking about any tornadoes that have touched down, not just here but really anywhere. If I load up the storm reports, I mean, and the rest of the weather team is here, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen very many reports of damage. So in Baden Lake earlier, there were some trees down in the Baden area. Salisbury had some trees down. I mean, Charlotte had a tornado warning, but it looks like just a couple trees down. The airport gusted up to 53 miles per hour. That's all stuff that we can handle. And so, you know, it's always difficult when we're messaging the day ahead of time. You know, gosh, this does look like it could be really bad, and we have these risks. But the thing to remember, we get severe weather in North Carolina, and we deal with this. We're not strangers to it. We shouldn't be afraid of it per se. It's good to respect it and good to be prepared. But more times than not, we do end up being okay. And I'm hopeful that this will be another one of those times. Even so far to report to you, wind gusts have been about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Now, I will say this, and let me use my time here to show you where we're going. It will continue to be a very windy day. And let me actually make a prediction here. It could be windier for a lot of you this afternoon than it already has been. So let me kind of explain that. We have a cold front moving in later. Take a look. So right now our winds have been what they've been, but later on this afternoon, from 2 to 3 to 4 and 5 o'clock, we could still and probably will be seeing winds of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So the rest of the day, likely to be very windy, and it'll stay pretty breezy tonight, and then tomorrow will be pretty breezy and pretty cold as well. But we can handle that. Let me show you our futurecast to give you an hour by hour of what we're seeing going forward. So take a look here. This is a rapid refresh model, we call it, from the Weather Service. It's doing an okay job with the timing, but it's a little slow. It thought at 11:45 there would still be storms in Greensboro. There aren't. So it's a little behind the ball. It has these moving toward Raleigh by 2. And later on today, you know what? It does still pop some strong action closer to 4 o'clock up in Mount Airy. I would doubt at that point that it's a tornado threat. But again, never say never here. It brings the main cold front across our area 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. So we're probably going to have a big break in the action over the next couple of hours. But then as we go toward later on this evening, when that cold front crosses, we're still going to want to be watching. And what else do you see here? That's snow. That is snow. North Carolina mountains will get snow today, maybe quite a bit of it. That's later on this evening. And it clears us from the rain by about 9 o'clock. 11:33 is the time right now. Let me show you what I have as a reset for you. Across the state of North Carolina right now, well, very few warnings. The ones that we do have continue to be in the same locations. Caswell County, the Weather Service has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Alamance County, which is great to see. So all in all, things are looking a lot better, and we might be able to kind of let our guard down a little bit, at least for the next few hours. Back to Alamance County we go. Very heavy rain continues for Mebane. It's moving into your area currently. The wind gusts and the wind speeds probably aren't too impressive in Alamance. Farther south towards Saxbahaw, still watching that area to Siler City. It moved through your area. So Montgomery County, you're having a little bit, but otherwise Randolph County is clear. Guilford County is clear. Rockingham County is clear. And right now, all the tornado warnings for North Carolina have been canceled. Danville has also been in the clear now. I will still say Caswell County still has some spots to watch. There's still some decent rotation now. Yanceyville is right here. Decent rotation just north of the city. You continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning for Caswell County, but that's about it at the moment. So these storms overall have not been as bad as expected. I'm encouraged to see that. We're still included in a strong risk of severe weather, but they're kind of, that's always playing a catch-up game, basically. So I do not believe anymore that we have a level 3 or a level 4 risk. Probably what they'll do is they'll update this shortly to a lower amount. Let me show you what I can see for our watches. We haven't showed you our severe thunderstorm and tornado watches recently, but it looks to me, and Ed and Claire, maybe you can confirm, but it looks like what they're doing. So right now, this is new. As of 2 minutes ago, this is new information. The tornado watch has been canceled early for Davidson, Forsyth, Guilford, Randolph counties. That's great news. So what we're seeing now, and this would be good to get out on social in these areas, Forsyth, Guilford, Randolph, Davidson have been cleared out of the tornado watch. That's really good. And the severe thunderstorm watch from earlier has also been allowed to expire farther off to the west. All good news, all good things. So overall, the severe weather threat looks to be going down, and that's something we hope to continue, and we'd like to see more of that. Ed Matthews, that's pretty good news, isn't it?
As we'll likely continue to see those counties chipped away from west to east from that tornado warning. Want to go back and go out to the west, and Tim alluded to this earlier. It is snowing to beat the band in central and eastern areas of Tennessee. And as the colder air works in, North Carolina and Virginia mountains are going to get some beneficial snow. I say beneficial snow because that's how they make their money quite often. And I'm talking about nice snow depths at the ski resorts there as well. Outside chance of maybe a wet flake in some of our far western foothill counties. Don't worry about it. Our biggest concern, obviously, over the past 4 or 5 days is getting ready for the severe weather threat. But some of our western areas, and I'm talking about, well, Allegheny and over to western Surrey and maybe even Yak and maybe a wet snowflake. This is really becoming a situation where cold air is going to be chasing moisture late today and into the evening hours. Now, eventually, overnight tonight, the sky will clear. And I'll tell you, we have been so hyper-focused, and rightfully so, talking about the severe weather threat. Now we can turn our attention to freezing and sub-freezing temperatures, because as this cold front moves through, some of that air that's producing the snow to our west is going to be moving in. We're going to go down into the upper 20s. I'm forecasting a low of 27 overnight tonight, and tomorrow night temperatures should go down to around 22 or 23. That's not good news for area farmers. If you can protect the tender vegetation, I would go ahead and make plans to do that. And some of these big farmers and farm communities around the area know how to deal with this colder air. We've been really focused on the severe weather, and rightfully so, but now that that threat is kind of diminishing, we're going to start really ramping up our discussion on some quite cold air that will be with us for several days before it warms up as we head into the weekend. And oh, by the way, Tim, as you well know, the first day of spring comes on Friday.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, and it's very important. You know, just like you were just saying, with how warm we've been, the intensity of those last couple of weeks with the 70s, with the 80s, all those things. All of the trees have woken up, the grass has woken up, all these kind of things. With these colder temperatures coming in, you know, we've had this to talk about. We will pivot later on tonight, guaranteed, getting the farmers ready, getting the peach farmers ready, the strawberry farmers, all of these things that we know and love about springtime. They can all be damaged when it comes to temperatures getting as low as the 20s where we are. I was just putting this together for social. You can see here we have two zones across North Carolina right now. We have basically a zone that is getting closer to being all clear and a zone that continues to kind of see more action going on into the afternoon, or at least the possibility of seeing more action. So right now what we're looking at is basically that all clear line is through Caswell County, Alamance, and Chatham counties, with most of the Triad area in pretty good shape. So I know we've been covering this weather for you for quite a while now. We're going to continue to let you know for that all clear zone. But right now the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Caswell. That's the one spot that we're watching still pretty carefully. And across the area, I want to actually show the current conditions because I haven't looked at them in a little while, and I'm curious just to see how much this has cooled us down. We are right now in the mid 60s, which isn't very warm overall, but it's typically still warm enough to cause some issues. I like to see that cooler air moving into the foothills, something we show you for comfort level in the summertime, but it's also very helpful for forecasting severe weather, is the dew point temperature. Typically, you want to have a dew point above 60 degrees to make really bad storms. When you get it below that, things can improve, or it can be harder for that air to rise and create big problems. Right now, we are starting to see our dew points falling into the mid 50s, which is another positive sign. So I'm encouraged to see kind of what we've been looking at throughout the last couple of hours. All of those indications are for improving conditions and improving amounts of severe weather. So that's good to see. Let's go back. We still have some weather on the board. So let's kind of show you still your severe weather, severe thunderstorm warning continues now for Caswell County. This is for the next, I believe, 15 minutes. This goes until about 12:15. So this continues through 12:15. This storm is moving right through Yanceyville. This is called a severe thunderstorm warning, but it does have a tornado possible tag to it, which means it's spinning a little bit. They're cautious of this. We're watching it carefully. But as of right now, it's not creating a tornado, or they don't expect it to. But this is right over the city of Yanceyville, so Caswell County right in the middle here. This is pushing off to the north and east, and this is really the last one that we're tracking in our area because once it clears you, it's going to continue to move farther off to the north and to the east. Here's some arrival times. Milton, about 5 minutes from now. Cunningham, about 11:52, and then it would be up into Virginia outside of our area. Farther off to the south, Mebane, I doubt you can see really across the street at the moment with all the rain that's coming down in your neck of the woods. This is moving right through. It already pushed through Graham, moving through Mebane, also places right here, moving closer toward Hawfields and places like that. It's going into Orange County next up, so that's going to be what you're looking at. Look at the improvement. This is really good to see. This is Burlington now, so that line pushed through Burlington. It feels like a minute ago. It was probably 10 minutes ago at this time. The flags are still blowing. We still have plenty of wind out there, but that cloud cover, that's really nice to see, and we're not seeing the rainfall either. There will be rain that moves your way the rest of the day, but we're hopeful not to get any more bad storms like we have been seeing, and really encouraging. Really encouraging. I'll show you the futurecast one more time. So this is going to be kind of showing you the hour by hour going forward. This is about 1:30. Mostly just expecting regular rainfall between now and 1 to 2 o'clock, which is really good. Take a look. By 3 o'clock, same idea. Probably just some regular old rainfall. The actual cold front is still a little slow to arrive, though. So by 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, we will want to still keep an eye on things. There could be some gusty showers, gusty thunderstorms. I think the threat going through the rest of the afternoon is more so for a damaging wind gust or two, and not really so much for tornadoes. So at this point, I feel pretty comfortable saying our threat for tornadoes for the rest of the day is going a lot lower. But our risk of gusty winds and maybe damaging winds would still remain. Never say never until probably about 5 o'clock. Once we get to that point, you can see this just pushing right along. And we have, of course, clearer conditions. And as Ed was talking about, well, it's going to be darn cold tomorrow morning. We do have some pictures starting to come into the newsroom. If you're seeing anything in your neighborhoods, please let us know. This is coming in from Kernersville. There it is. We can see that right over there. Looks like one of your classic Bradford pears. They love to split. They are not very up to snuff when it comes to high winds, and that seems to be another casualty over there. Not a major example of damage, but certainly a minor impact to some of the storms that we've had come through the area throughout the last couple of hours. We've been encouraged by what we're seeing, and when we're talking about these threats, it's always, be prepared, don't be scared. A lot of times we can get through it just fine, and it's always good to remember that, and I think it's warranted. So this is the storm that we're still tracking on the board. Alamance County, you've started to clear out very nicely. Caswell County, still under the gun for probably the next 15 or so minutes. Farther off to the west, we have regular old rain moving through Charlotte, Wilkesboro too, and on the wider picture, where is the cold front? I want to track that cold front now. One more, Ed, we're going to get to you in just a second. I want to look at the dew points. This is such a meteorologist thing to want to look at. We want to look at the dew points here. But there's a reason for it. This is the true all clear line. Once you get to this, you are definitely done. And we're seeing that that's already moved through Atlanta. That's probably headed our way by about 3 to 4 and 5 o'clock later on this evening. So we're still hanging on to some humidity. That still remains in our area. But Ed, the fact that the strongest of the storms have already started to push on by, that's good news. And we'll see if there's anything left that could reform along that cold front a little later on this afternoon.
Areas south and east of the Triad where those dew points and the colder air, the dew points haven't dropped and the colder air arrives into the area. You remember a few days ago when the temperature dropped like a rock as we had a system to move through and the temperatures dropped something on the order of 20, 25 degrees? I think that's really what we're going to experience late today and especially overnight tonight as the sky clears. But Tim, I wanted to make a couple of departing observations about this particular storm. It is very rare that we have a level 3 or a level 4 threat of severe weather. And the same thing with the tornado threat. Quite frankly, I think we've lucked out. Now, there has been, some scattered damage and things like that around the area, but so far, no confirmed tornadoes anywhere in North Carolina. That is great news. And the producer was just telling me we have a photo. Where is this from? Oh, okay. Still some nasty looking clouds there. Let me go up to Oak Ridge on the radar and just see what's going on. All quiet on the home front. I'm assuming this is a picture. This is a photo, right? So this is something somebody sent in earlier when the storms were moving through northwestern Guilford County. I saw that and I said, oh my goodness, let me look at the radar. And I looked at the radar and all is quiet, not only in that part of Guilford County, but throughout Guilford County. But that is just a demonstration of the very strong and severe storms that have been moving through our area through the morning, and of course through northwestern areas of Guilford County. Saw some really nasty storms and winds there. Want to thank all of you for sending in those photos and continue to do so. We love to show those on the air. Tim?
Well, thanks, Ed. Certainly appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing throughout the morning and really just all over the years. Ed has been here every step of the way for, gosh, it seems like forever, right? And we love him for it. We're still tracking the storms, of course, but whenever we're tracking severe weather together, it is something that we appreciate, I think, and the folks appreciate it at home too. Still watching a little bit of rotation just here on the north side of Caswell County. Probably the last one that we're going to track for you that looks like this, but there's a little spinning going on. There's Yanceyville. Here's the small town of Milton. This is right along Highway 62. So if you're one of our News 2 viewers in Caswell County on the north side, on the northeast side of Caswell, this is that same storm that we've been following through Caswell County over the last 15, 20 minutes. It's the same one that was in Rockingham County earlier that had us concerned, and it's still moving off to the north and to the east. So up and up it goes and moves farther off to the north and to the east. Some arrival times on this thing for you as it pushes off that direction. Estelle, 11:48, that's about right now. Cunningham, McGee's Mill, Alton, that's up in Virginia at that point. That'll be closer to noon that we track that for you in Alton. So those are the main storm that's still left on the board for us. Let's kind of give you a little bit of a tour, let's say, with different sky cameras, because it's always good to kind of see what's going on literally across the area. It's a live view in Winston-Salem. It looks beautiful at the moment. I mean, it's cloudy, of course, maybe a little bit damp as well. But we have some pretty good conditions over there in Forsyth County currently. Happy to see that, happy to show you that too. This is also on the Wake Forest campus, just looking north rather than south. So again, fairly okay. Kind of looks like clearing. It's really not. I believe it's still pretty overcast over that way. I'm going to go back to our Burlington camera because, well, we love you in Burlington. Let's take a look at that. There it is. Those winds are still blowing around. Still really windy over there. Temperature at about 63 degrees. I believe we have a picture to show you as well. Allison, just remind me where this is from. Rockingham County. Okay. And this is kind of the site that a lot of you have probably been seeing as you're moving about the region, looking out the window earlier today. Those dark clouds, and something of a hallmark of today, just as I was driving into the station about an hour and a half ago, low clouds, low to the ground, fast-moving clouds. Why is that the case? The whole way that you can get a severe weather threat in the first place is a lot of humidity, a lot of moisture, and really fast-moving winds above our heads. Severe weather doesn't just happen on its own. It happens when thunderstorms bring that high wind from above our heads down to the ground. So when you have clouds that are already close to the ground anyway, and the wind is buzzing around at 60, 70 miles per hour, that's our concern. It's pretty easy for them to do that on a day like today. And in that picture, you're seeing those storms. Now, most of them, thankfully, have not been able to create those higher wind gusts at the surface. And that's really important to us. And really, at the end of the day, it's all that we care about. So we've been ready. We've been on guard. All of these things all the ingredients have been there. But we talk about ingredients when we speak about a watch versus a warning. It's like if you're going to go, make cupcakes or something. You've got the flour, you've got the sugar, you've got the frosting, you've got the toppings. They're all on the table. That's the watching part. That's the, hey, we got to be alert here because we've got all those ingredients. Once you make the cupcake, that's a different ballgame. So in this case, we haven't really been able to make the cupcake a lot. We've had a lot of the ingredients out here, but more or less, we haven't been able to put them together in most areas. And at the end of the day, that's pretty sweet. That's something that we like. So farther out across the Carolinas, not seeing anything that concerns me. Probably later on by about 3 or 4 o'clock, we're going to want to watch the actual cold front getting into our area. But the threat of any tornadoes is going down. The threat of gusty winds, maybe some damaging winds, can't continue to rule that out. It'll be a windy day regardless around the area. and we see power outages sometimes when the winds are 30 miles per hour. So don't rule that out. But as far as being in your safe spot and, being really scared, I think you could kind of be in rest easy at this point, that we're probably not going to have a lot of those nervous moments going forward through this afternoon. This is the last severe weather warning on the board for us right now. It still is in effect for Caswell County. But if you're watching us from Yanceyville, from the city of Yanceyville, you're clear. This has moved just to the north and to the east of you. And the one area that we're watching for the next couple minutes before we get to the noon news for you, this is up in the Milton area. I don't know why my velocity looks like that. That's a little strange. But there is still a little bit of rotation on that one. So overall, keep your eyes peeled in Caswell County. Live picture of Danville, Virginia. Remember a little while ago, we couldn't see very easily over there. Now we can. The visibility has improved. Things are improving in Danville, Virginia, and we'd like to see that as well. This is that line of storms that has been pushing through really the whole area. It only took about 2 hours to go from west to east across our 13 county viewing area, which is pretty impressive to me, and something that kind of speaks to the speed of these storms. 1 minute they're in Charlotte, the next they're in Greensboro, the next they're off kind of down the line. What's amazing though is, and I got a message from a viewer here, they said, Tim, I'm in Gibsonville. I basically had no rainfall with the system. What in the world happened? Well, you're gonna still get some rain, but basically if we kind of work our way down the line, the storm split right around Greensboro. Take a look at that. This is earlier today, 11 o'clock. South, north, middle. They really just split around the city. There's nothing scientific about that. It's just luck of the draw. There's nothing preventing the storms from going into Greensboro. It's just the way it happened. And so it's kind of funny how that worked out today, and lucky too, to see that in a positive way for most of us. We're not finding too many storm reports coming in from this system. I will be watching to see if any more of them start to show up. Yadkin County from earlier this morning. This is about 10 o'clock, 9:45. East Bend had about 24 trees down in some areas. So there has been weather, certainly, that's moved through the area. Much earlier today in Wilkes County, there was some action that was flying by as well. Looks like something happened up here in Reedsville. I remember tracking this tornado warning in the Reedsville area earlier, and this is right there pretty close to the Reedsville area. Tree down on a power line, which reminds me, we're always kind of checking with our partners at Duke Energy and all the other power companies locally. There don't seem to be a large number of power outages coming in, certainly on the order of hundreds. There are some of those, but not thousands and thousands. And sometimes we'll be doing severe weather and all of a sudden, boom, there's 5,000 outages in this county. That's when we get alarm bells that there's been some big problems. Right now, Randolph County has 900 without power on Duke. We've got 450 in Yadkin County. Forsyth County has about 200. So that's not bad. That's not overall bad compared to what we could see sometimes on some big weather days. Ed was telling you how cold it's going to get. That's going to be the story going forward. It is snowing, for real, snowing in Tennessee and in Alabama. So all of this weather pushing along the East Coast, all of this is starting to move through the Carolinas. Overall, this has been a big sloppy mess in the Carolinas and not a very severe situation, even with all the warnings that we've been bringing to you from our partners at the Weather Service. Most of them, it appears, have not been creating a lot of damage on the ground, which is good to see. I have a new severe thunderstorm warning to show you right now. It's not new, it's just trimmed down basically. But as I was telling you a second ago, Caswell County, only a smaller chunk of the county now is seeing that thunderstorm, and the rest of us, or rest of you, I should say, are pretty much just kind of watching it go along and kind of waving it goodbye. So overall, the severe weather threat really going down for a lot of us across the Carolinas, which is very good to see, very good news, of course, as well. And we hope that that continues. If Ed's still with us, Ed, I wonder if you have any more thoughts about kind of whether or not we'll have anything popping up this afternoon. I think to me, that's the big question right now. I'm not sure if we'll have any more storms popping up this afternoon, but we'll sure be tracking it until that cold front itself crosses by.
Yeah, we got to watch the cold front and see if anything develops right along the front. I was just checking temperatures getting ready for WFMY News 2 at noon. 64 degrees right now out at PTI, while temperatures are right around 50 to our west out over the foothills. So if there are any more strong to severe storms, it would favor our southern areas and well east towards Raleigh, Durham, maybe as close by as Mebane. But I tell you what, Tim, I think this is really, the severe weather threat is diminishing rather quickly, and certainly that is good news for everybody.
I certainly agree, Ed, and it's good news, and we'll let you get ready for the noon show. Of course, we're going to have a lot of reports around the area for you to pass along, but let me just kind of do a round robin before we get to that, and then our control room will let you know when to toss to the appropriate folks, right? But here are those downpours. Still continuing to see some downpours, a couple of lightning strikes in Caswell County. For a lot of you, this might have been the first time that you've heard thunder or seen lightning in quite a long time. It's been a fairly quiet winter overall for a lot of us. We haven't had a lot in the way of thunderstorms, really, and that's kind of been a good thing, really. You don't want to have those in the wintertime. Right now, the live radar showing still some regular old rainfall coming down in Forsyth County, Yadkin, Surrey, Stokes. All of this is our friend. We want as much of this regular old rain as we can for the rest of the day, because as Ed was pointing to, when you get that gentle rain, it helps to stabilize things, and it kind of prevents really bad stuff from happening. And at this point, we would like that to continue. The more rain, the better at this point in time. But truly, it's tame outside. Our winds are only gusting at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So with all the hubbub about the severe weather risk being at a 3 and at a 4, those levels, you know, we're not in control of that. We're not the ones forecasting that. That comes from the smartest folks in weather that come from the Oklahoma Storm Prediction Center. It doesn't appear that that's materializing for our area, and we're happy to see that. We're glad to see that, but right now that has not been a big problem for us. We've had the nervous moments with the tornado warnings, but they've been allowed to expire. Let me show you where our Futurecast takes us from here for the rest of the day. This is where it has us right now. Next couple hours, mostly just scattered rain showers. This would be through about 2 and 3 o'clock. Overall, though, the trend continues for temperatures to start to fall pretty quickly, and the actual cold front does come through a little later on this afternoon and into this evening. So really what we're going to find is that the temperatures will start to drop later on today. The rain will continue for a little while longer, but the storm threat is really mostly done. We'll keep an eye through about 3 and 4 p.m., but for all the nervousness, I do want to calm the folks out there and just say, we're probably going to be okay here. It's looking positive. We're happy to report that for you, and we're always trying to get you prepared.
Welcome to WFY News 2 at noon. I'm Lauren Coleman.
And I'm Megan Maleras. A huge thanks to Tim Buckley, Claire Fry, and Matthews for their team coverage these last couple of hours as we dealt with a variety of tornado warnings and watches across our area. The threat is not over, though things are looking better. Let's get a look at our forecast again right now with meteorologist Ed Matthews on this weather impact alert day.
Absolutely. We couldn't rule out an isolated strong or severe storm, mainly southern and eastern areas, but to our west of Winston-Salem and points to the north, I think we're pretty much in the clear. Now, we're obviously going to continue to watch radar for the rest of the afternoon. We go back in time and you see how that line of storms progressed right through our area, moving on towards Raleigh, Durham now. Still got some pockets of heavier rain in areas of Chatham County and over into the Sandhills. This is tracking off to the northeast, but I think for the rest of the afternoon, this is going to be what we call stratiform rain, just plain old rain. Now, our tornado watch continues to be chipped away. No longer the Metro Triad a part of that. I think this will be scaled back right along the Virginia-North Carolina border as we continue to see the threat shift on to the east. Look at these temperatures. Now, we're still into the low and mid 60s right now, but late this afternoon and certainly into the evening, temperatures are going to start to drop. Temperatures already already around 50 out over the Blue Ridge, even some upper 40s. And once the front moves east of our area, the temperatures will drop. So now we're in the 60s, but as we go through the rest of the afternoon, we'll see some rain and we'll see scattered showers around with the temperatures crashing. We'll clear and go to 27 tonight.
Right now, our WFMY News 2 team is tracking some reports and pictures of damage across the Triad.
WFMY News 2's Lauren Tier is live in Forsyth County. Lauren, I know you're in the car right now. What are you seeing out on the roadways?
Yeah, Megan, as of right now, nothing too bad to be seen out here. We're in the Clemens-Louisville area, currently driving down Harper Road in Forsyth County, and we really haven't seen much damage at all. As of right now, this rain is just kind of trickling down.
All right, we're having some interference with her live shot. Again, she's the passenger of a car being driven by someone else. They are trying to make their way to a report of some damage in Forsyth County, one of the counties that very early on went into a tornado warning. We'll check in with Lauren again as soon as we get her back.
All right, we have several crews out and about. Let's go ahead and check in with WFMY News 2's Manning Franks, who's live in Rockingham County. Manning, it looks like you have a tree right behind you that snapped.
Yeah, I'm in Rockingham County right now in Reedsville. I just spoke with the homeowners here off Steamboat Drive, and they were telling me that around 10 o'clock today, you can kind of see, let me actually flip this around for you all so you can kind of see the damage from the wind gusts that we had today, the really high wind gusts. Right now, you can see it literally looked like it's been ripped into this tree. It happened around 10 o'clock this morning. We've been kind of driving around the area from Guilford up until Rockingham County, and this is one of the reports that we got where literally just a few minutes ago, the fire department was here, and you can see that they have actually cut through a lot of that block, because this was blocking off the road here in Rockingham County off in Reedsville. They got saws, they literally blew off the remainder of the leaves and sticks and limbs and whatnot, so this could be easily passable. And it's interesting because right now it is a clear sky to show how quickly that things can change, because this was, as I said, the damage that was, look at that, right there, ripped clean off just from the high winds that we had. So obviously when I was speaking with the homeowners, this was something that they kind of looked out. Next thing you know, at 10 o'clock today, oh, there is our tree in our front yard has come down. Now, obviously, at this point, fire department just left, and we'll be going out and about Rockingham County, Guilford, wherever we get calls to see, now that we know from what I was overhearing with Tim, that the main part of the storm has gone past us here in Rockingham County. Again, be weather aware as you go about today, because while, of course, we had that main rounds, it doesn't mean that things are out of the woods completely. Again, this is just here in Reedsville and Rockingham County, where high winds have already taken out one tree in the front yard. And if you were here just a few minutes ago, as I said, you could see the fire department here doing what they needed to do to make sure that this tree or this road was passable. The tree was taken down. So again, we'll keep you updated on any and all different calls that we get in regards to the wind damage we may have seen. Again, live here in Reedsville, I'm Manning Franks, WFMY News 2.
All right, thank you for that update, Manning. You stay safe out there. Right now, we're taking a look at the Duke Energy power outage map. At last check, we have over 9,000 customers without power, about 7,800 of those in North Carolina. Taking a closer look, it looks like out in Guilford County, we have about 50 customers without power. As we take a look at Forsyth County, about 176 customers without power. We're going to continue to check in. Remember to stay updated. Download our News 2 weather app as we continue to keep you updated on the power outages in our area. You can now track the system yourself with our 24/7 hour radar available on WFMY Plus. Scan this QR code on your screen to download on your TV and watch for free. It is now 12:05 happening right now. The woman who left her child in her hot car last year is expected to appear in court. You may remember police charged 25-year-old Jayla Branch with felony child abuse. Authorities say the certified nursing assistant left her child in the car because she knew the child wouldn't be allowed in a patient's home. The district attorney added that the Branch even covered the back of her vehicle with blankets so no one could see him. Officials also say Branch had been warned twice in the past about leaving her child in an unattended car. We have a WFMY News 2 crew in the courtroom right now. We'll keep you updated throughout the day.
A couple of other very highly watched cases we are looking at today. Later this afternoon, the man charged with killing Greensboro police officer Michael Horan is due in court. Last year, we remember a judge or jury indicted Terrell McMillan for first-degree murder in the 2024 shooting. Officer Horan responded to a call at the Food Lion on Lawndale Drive. It was 2 days before Christmas, middle of the morning. A lot of people were at that grocery store, which is very popular. Police say as he approached McMillan inside the store, McMillan shot him before he could draw his weapon. The hearing is set for 2 o'clock.
Despite the rough weather, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office still plans to honor Deputy Caleb Mitchell today. The 24-year-old died in an on-duty crash last weekend. Investigators say he was hit by a driver going 100 miles per hour. Flags statewide will be lowered today in his honor. The service begins at 2 p.m. at Woodland Baptist Church in Winston-Salem. If you can't make it because of the weather, the service will be streamed live on the church's Facebook page. Later this evening, the Randolph County Board of Education will meet to decide whether it will close Uwharrie Ridge 6 through 12. The district has cited declining enrollment, with peak attendance reaching only 507 students during the 2019-2020 school year. Academic performance data with the school receiving mostly D and F letter grades from the state since 2017 and projected budget savings of about $1.3 million. If the board votes to close the school tonight, students will be split between Southwestern, Randolph Middle, and high schools. That vote is tonight at 6 p.m.
A move that will for sure affect the upcoming school year is a merger in Rockingham County schools. The district is holding a meeting tonight for parents to learn more about the merger of Moss Street and South End schools. The district is building a brand new Reedsville Elementary School. The information meeting is also at 6 tonight at Reedsville High School Media Center.
President Trump is taking questions this morning as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran enters its third full week with no end in sight. Overnight, as strikes hit Tehran, an Iranian drone attack hit Dubai. CBS News correspondent Olivia Rinaldi has more on today's developments from the White House.
Rescue workers with the Iranian Red Crescent carried survivors away from the rubble on stretchers after an airstrike in Tehran Monday. This aid worker says the area is residential, while video showed a child's doll in the debris. The Israeli military says it's also planning to expand ground attacks in Lebanon against Iran-backed Hezbollah. In Dubai, an Iranian drone hit a fuel tank near the city's busy airport, suspending flights, and in Tel Aviv, sirens sounded, sending residents into shelters. President Trump says he's communicating with other nations about lending help to reopen the Strait of Hormuz so that oil shipping can resume.
We've had some positive response and a few that would rather not get involved.
A retired Navy admiral tells CBS News it will take a couple of weeks to get ships in place.
Forcing Iran to not control the Straits of Hormuz is in all Western countries' interest. And Iran has been a bad actor regime.
President Trump says Iran has been talking about negotiating, but the country's foreign minister is denying it.
We never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes.
The Defense Department has released the names of 6 U.S. service members killed last week in a fuel tanker crash in western Iraq, among the 13 service members killed since the war started. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump says he may delay his planned summit with China in a couple of weeks as he keeps his focus on the war with Iran.
Well, our pet of the day, kind of on the light side as we begin our weather segment. We have our pet of the day. Want to introduce you to Miss Rose. Miss Rose is a cute little poodle with a big, big pink bow. All right, let's get into Piedmont weather. Boy, what an active morning across the area. Good news so far, no reports of a confirmed tornado. There have been some scattered pockets of damage due primarily to straight line wind damage associated with the severe storms across the area. Still have one up over southern Virginia, just to right near Danville and points on to the east, but things are really starting to quiet down. We'll keep an eye on our eastern areas and also our southern areas down through the southern Piedmont and Sandhills for maybe an isolated strong or severe storm. But as chillier air starts to work in, it's really going to stabilize the atmosphere. We've got some heavy downpours over Chatham County, also into Lee County as well. They're tracking off to the northeast. Now, even though the severe weather threat is decreasing, we're going to continue to see some scattered showers right on up through late afternoon and into the early evening. But look at the temperature profile. 50 in Jefferson, 51 at Boone. Even Wilkesboro is at 57. But here in the immediate triad, we're looking at low and mid 60s. But once our front moves through late day, we're going to start to see these temperatures crash. And believe it or not, we're going down into the upper 20s tonight. As this cold front moves to the Carolina coast, high pressure, chilly high pressure builds in. We'll continue to have some wind gusts later on this evening and overnight, and it'll be a bit breezy tomorrow as well. But now that we're getting rid of the severe weather threat, the focus is on sub-freezing temperatures, not only tonight, but tomorrow night as well, as temperatures drop well into the 20s at night. As a matter of fact, Tuesday night and into Wednesday night, we're likely going to see temperatures dip generally into the mid and upper 20s across the area. Now, we're in the mid and upper 60s right now, but temperatures will start to crash late day. Severe threat is decreasing, so we'll see scattered showers clearing during the evening and overnight. Look at this. We'll drop into the upper 20s tonight. Chilly days ahead tomorrow and Wednesday. Mid 40s, 27 tonight, 24 on Wednesday morning. We'll warm things back up. The first day of spring, temperature is 68. We're into the low 70s and nice for the weekend.
I don't got that much to say, to be so honest. Not really seeing much. We are heading to Mount Tabor, the Mount Tabor area, which is where there's supposedly a decently sized outage according to
All right now, our WFMY News 2 team is tracking the latest on this weather impact alert as a strong line of storms moves its way out of our area, and we're seeing some of the damage left behind.
WFMY News 2's Lauren Tier is live in Forsyth County. Lauren, when we last checked in with you, you were traveling through the Clemens area. What are you seeing on your route now?
Lauren, Megan, we are now actually headed to Mount Tabor, where there is a larger power outage according to the Duke Energy outage map. As far as what we were seeing in Clemens and the Louisville area, the reason we decided to check out that area is because within the last hour, we actually heard from the Emergency Management Director of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, August Vernon. He had mentioned that there were some damage reports in those areas. As we were driving around, though, we really didn't see much. We're on 40 now, and as you can see, it's a very, very light trickle of rain coming down. As I said, we're headed toward Mount Tabor because according to the outage map, there is an outage in that area because of weather damage. So we'll continue to bring you updates if we see anything in that area. Again, live in Forsyth County, Lauren Tier, WFMY News 2.
The severe weather threat continues to decrease, but we'll keep an eye on our southern and eastern areas. Our cold front has not moved through yet, but these temperatures will tumble late day and through the evening, and we're going down to 27 as the sky clears tonight. St. Patrick's Day, breezy, chilly mid-40s, down to 24 on Wednesday morning and back into the mid-40s. We'll finally start to warm up a bit, 60 on Thursday, but look at the first day of of spring. Temperatures will be into the upper 60s, and right now, next weekend is looking real nice for the Piedmont Triad. We anticipate dry weather Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures warming into the lower 70s. But we got a little chilly air that's on the way, and that may have an effect on some blooms on some of our fruit trees around the area. So may want to protect your vegetation over the next couple of mornings.
I know my neighbor has the most beautiful cherry blossom blooming.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be gone after this.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, stick with us and remember to download the WFNY News 2 weather app. We'll see you streaming on WFNY Plus at 12:30. Join us. It is 12:27. This is a mic check from Lauren Coleman. It is very cloudy and rainy outside, and okay.
Oh, hey, yeah, I didn't hear you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can hear you now. It's 12:27. We're about to do the stream. Hopefully, thank you. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
I sure can. I'm just inside here now. Sorry, I was trying to get some digital stuff done, but I am here outside the house.
Welcome back to WFNY News 2 at noon. It is now 12:30. We are streaming exclusively on WFNY Plus. I'm Lauren Coleman.
And I'm Megan Maleros. We have a lot to get to today. We remain under a weather impact alert, but it seems the worst for now is over. Let's check our forecast now with meteorologist Claire Fry. Claire, you and our whole weather team were on the air for a couple of hours as we were dealing with multiple warnings. What's the situation like heading into the afternoon?
Well, I would agree with you, Megan. I think the worst is gone. It's pushing east away from our area. We could still have a couple of scattered showers, maybe an isolated storm through the afternoon, but overall, the threat for severe weather has been diminishing. A couple of severe storms to our northeast, but not as much, of course, here at home. Mainly just some light to moderate rain showers across the Triad for right now. More moderate showers continue to stay to our east. Excuse me while I continue to get this computer working for you. A little bit heavier over toward parts of Alamance County, but some places not seeing any rainfall right now. Over the last 6 hours, several reports have been coming in about trees down, particularly over toward Reedsville. Another one here in Pfafftown, here trees down at Robin Hood Road and also on Chatillon Road. And also another over towards Surrey County in the Elkin area. Plenty of trees have been reported to be down from these winds across the area. They likely have been in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. Higher in thunderstorms. Still have a wind advisory for northernmost counties all the way until 2 a.m. tonight. Severe storm risk is continuing to be pushed east and away from our area as that line continues through the region. Rainfall that we've seen so far today up to around ½ an inch over in Asheboro and same over toward Winston-Salem and in Burlington. Wind gusts right now in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. The highest that we saw over in Winston-Salem at 39. Current conditions currently in the 60s for now, but much cooler air is on the way behind the front. We'll talk about just how cold it is coming up.
All right, we're continuing to track the aftermath of these storms. We're seeing quite a bit of damage in Rockingham County.
Yeah, we're going to check back in with WFMY News 2's Manning Frakes. You've been out there for a couple of hours now with some snapped trees.
For those of you who joined us in our noon show, this is the same spot where I was here prior. The good news is the individuals here that live here are no power lost, nothing of extensive damage outside of this Bradford pear tree that is right behind me. We recently just had the fire department come here, and they, as you can see, literally, actually, let me switch this around so you all can see it in a better light. There we go. You can kind of see they recently just took out the chainsaws and cleared this road, because this road here in Rockingham County and Reedsville was completely blocked off at this time. As you can kind of also see, it was snapped clean, especially from the high winds that we had. But of course, with quick response from the fire department, they were able to actually cut this and make sure that this was now a passable location for anyone who has to live in this area. This isn't a main road, no, per se. This is mainly just a side road. But of course, if people can't get to their homes, that's in and of itself a really dangerous and a very difficult situation. But as I wanted to show you, I want to get closer to here to kind of show you what it looked like when it comes to this high wind ripping off completely this tree. Now, from when I was talking with the homeowner, they were saying this is not the first time they've had trees fall out in this neighborhood, but of course this is a very violent high gust wind that we had here that took out this tree right there. You can see where that branch was prior. But again, everyone is okay. Thankfully, there has been no one hurt, and it came into a direction where it was just the road that you saw the actual damage fall to. So we'll keep you updated. I'm going to some other power outage locations in Guilford and Rockingham County, so we will keep you updated once I learn more, because right now, while the main threat of damage may have passed, you should always still be weather aware, especially as the rest of the day transpires as you head back home. Live here in Rockingham County, I'm Manning Franks, WFMY News 2.
All right, thanks, Manning. New at noon, multiple community meetings are postponed because of the weather today. For example, the Rockingham County Schools Board meeting about the merger of Moss Street and South End will now happen tomorrow, same time, same place. But the Bingham Park meeting tonight in Greensboro is postponed. A makeup date has not yet been announced.
We're not alone. There is brutal weather across the country, including a blizzard in the upper Midwest. Snowfall in Green Bay, Wisconsin shut down most of the city. There's also a big system moving east today. That was Green Bay, Wisconsin. Another threat nationwide in Lee is in Green Bay, where a blizzard warning is still in effect.
A late winter blizzard sweeping across the upper Midwest left big rigs, one after another, stranded on Interstate 94 in more than 20 inches of snow.
You weren't expecting this?
No, not all of this at once, nope.
In Green Bay, record snowfall forced the city to declare a snow emergency. The blizzard dumped more than 17 inches Sunday, its biggest one-day snowfall since 1889. We met one family trying to clear their driveway.
A wonderful family, because this would have been a nightmare for me to do it myself.
South of Minneapolis, this car was stranded for more than 4 hours in a foot of snow. And while pushing it out didn't work, a Good Samaritan's know-how did. The colossal weather system is also blowing dangerously high winds in western Nebraska, where 2 massive wildfires are burning more than 500,000 acres of land, rivaling the state's worst wildfires. The nasty weather also caused more than 3,000 flight cancellations across the country Sunday, more than half of them in Chicago and Minneapolis.
I like this weather than Christmas and New Year's. Once it gets towards March and April, then, you know, I tend to put my boots away around this time.
And we're hearing there are flight cancellations today from Chicago to New York. Here in Wisconsin, most parts are under a blizzard warning until later this afternoon. Ian Lee, CBS News, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You can now track the system yourself using our 24/7-hour radar, available on WFMY Plus. Scan the QR code on your screen and download for free on your device. Despite the rough weather, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office still plans to honor Deputy Caleb Mitchell today. The 24-year-old died in an on-duty crash last weekend. Investigators say he was hit by a driver going 100 miles per hour. Flags statewide will be lowered today in his honor. The service begins at 2 p.m. at Woodland Baptist Church in Winston-Salem. If you can't make it because of the weather, we are live streaming it right here on WFMY Plus. We're headed to the break. Stick with us.
Right now, our WFMY News 2 team is tracking reports of storm damage across the Triad.
WFMY News 2's Lauren Tier is live in Forsyth County. Lauren, last time we checked in with you, you said you were on your way to Mount Tabor. What are you seeing along your drive? Have you seen any down power lines, any snapped trees?
Well, Well, we've definitely been on the lookout for those snapped power lines. Right now, we're driving through a neighborhood in Mount Tabor where there is supposed to be a power outage according to the Duke Energy outage map. Again, this is in Mount Tabor. So far, haven't seen too much damage or anything on power lines. There have been the occasional branch and debris stuck in the road here. This is on Petrie Road off of Shadowlawn Drive, again in Mount Tabor, and this neighborhood is supposedly without power as of right now, and that's because of storm damage. But as we've been driving through here for maybe the past 3 minutes or so, I haven't seen any trees on power lines. There is a power crew that's passing us now. Oh, I don't know if you could see it. It just passed us. So maybe if we head down this road a little bit more, we might see some of that damage. But even just driving up here to Mount Tabor from the Clemens area, we really haven't seen much damage at all. Again, just some minor debris in the roads, a couple of branches along the sides of the roads, but nothing too major in terms of that storm damage. We do know from the Forsyth County Emergency Management Office, they did receive some calls this morning related to storm-related damage, but those calls have been slowly trickling in and nothing too severe to report at this time. Again, we're driving through this neighborhood in Mount Tabor, about 5 minutes from Mount Tabor High School. Haven't seen anything next to or on any power lines, just some branches, some trees, some debris. I'll give you a last look here. We actually just passed the high school. Nothing too bad over here in the Mount Tabor area of Forsyth County. Live in Forsyth County, Lauren Tier, WFMY News 2.
All right, thank you, Lauren. It looks like things have calmed down quite a bit. We want you to be safe as you travel along your journey. We'll check in with you a little later. Let the madness begin. The NCAA tournament bracket is now set, and 5 North Carolina teams are going dancing.
Yeah, a great lineup. My alma mater, Missouri, also in the mix. The Big Triangle schools all made it: Duke, UNC, Chapel Hill, and NC State. Plus, High Point and Queens University won their tournaments to earn automatic bids. So Duke earned, no surprise, the top overall seed and will play against Siena Thursday in Greenville. 6th seed UNC will play Thursday in Greenville, taking on VCU. NC State will play in the first 4 tomorrow against Texas. If the Wolfpack wins, it will play BYU on Thursday in Portland, Oregon. High Point also will play in Portland against Wisconsin, and Queens University will play Purdue in St. Louis, my hometown, on Friday. If you're planning on going to a game, you should hurry up and try to get tickets. Yeah, tickets to March Madness are going fast. Duke's division in Greenville, for example, has some sections already sold out, and the cheapest tickets are gone.
High Point men's basketball is going back to the big dance for the 2nd year in a row, this time under the leadership of first-year head coach Flynn Kamen. Last year saw an early exit for the Panthers, but this year they believe they can make some noise in the tournament. High Point will be in the West region, meaning that even with a win on Thursday against Wisconsin, they may have to face the number 4 team in that region to make it out the first weekend. When talking to the players and coaches, they say they're excited for the opportunity to play against a Power 4 team like Wisconsin. A lot of people have not seen High Point play this year, but Thursday they will get to show who they are on a national stage.
Excited knowing that we started in the summer, just working each and every day to get better, to get to this moment, and I feel like we put in the work and now we're here, so I'm excited to go compete with the guys and have some fun.
It's not even just about the first game. We trying to make a real run for real. Because, you know, we went here last year, we was out first round, and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like we even made it for real, because it was like we was out so quick, so we just gonna try to switch that around and keep going.
We just gonna go out there and play High Point basketball like we've been doing all year. But yeah, that's the goal to go on the run, hopefully, and just execute the game plan that coaches give to us. So that would be huge. That's the plan for sure.
One thing that the Panthers have going for them is that they are one of the best offensive teams in the country, averaging 90 points a game.
Well, now that the bracket is set, it's time to start putting together yours. Matt Lively breaks down who has the best chance to win it all.
Welcome to Center Court and Bracket Mountain. The NCAA tournament bracket has been unveiled. 68 teams all fighting to end up on the top spot right here. Action starts on Tuesday, but I want to take you through the chalk bracket, meaning all the favorites. The 4 1 seeds. You got Duke, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan. We start in the South and we'll spin it there. The Gators are looking to win back-to-back titles, claiming the tournament a year ago, but their road is definitely tough. They need to get through the 2 seed Houston, which sets up a rematch of the title game. That could be one of the best games in this tournament. All right, all eyes are going to be on Michigan in the Midwest, trying to become the first Big Ten team to win it in 26 years. In a chalk bracket, they'd potentially face Iowa State, one of the best out of the Big 12. And speaking of that conference, Arizona, a 1 seed and looking to win its first title since 1997. They are positioned in the West. The Boilermakers, who just captured a Big Ten tournament, could face them in the Elite Eight. And then, coming out of the East is Duke. John Shire and the Blue Devils are the top overall seed in the country. They've got one of the best freshmen in college basketball in Cam Boozer. Blue Devils haven't won the big one since 2015. Those are the Coach K days. They'd face off against Dan Hurley and UConn in a potential Elite Eight. Of course, though, this is March. The chalk gets washed away all the time. However, last year, all the 1 seeds went to the Final Four for just the second time in history. Will it happen again? I wouldn't be so sure, but that is the beauty of madness.
Switching gears, checking in on your forecast. The time is 12:46, and while the majority of the severe weather is gone, now our focus turns toward the cooler air funneling into the area. Cold front building in really throughout this afternoon. We still could have some rain remaining, heavy at times. Gusty winds too, between 25 to 40 miles per hour. Keep the rain gear with you throughout the afternoon and take it easy on the roadways. There's likely going to be ponding alongside the roads, and it doesn't take much to hydroplane. That severe weather from earlier has pushed east of our area. Only one severe thunderstorm warning in southern Virginia. For our area, mainly just some light to moderate rainfall, especially over Alamance County into Davidson, Randolph, and Guilford County as well. Tornado watch actually has been dropped for several of our counties, including westernmost Forsyth over toward Guilford, Davidson, and Randolph County. Likely going to get dropped here within the next hour or so. If not, it does expire at 2 p.m. The severe risk continues to get pushed toward the east as that main line pushes toward the area. We still could have an isolated storm or two, but chances are it's likely just going to be some cool rainfall across the area. What we've seen with these storms, lots and lots of trees down in reports across the area. Over toward Winston-Salem and Pfafftown, tree was down off of Peachtree Road, and another tree was also reported down off of Statesville Road in Wilkes County. These are all tree reports across our westernmost counties. I just clicked 2 to show you an example. Over the next couple of hours, going to see some scattered showers possible, maybe an isolated storm, but for the most part, that severe threat dying down for our area as this cold front pushes through the area. We're going to get cooler, significantly cooler at that. It's also going to be windy too, with some of those gusts up to around maybe even 30, 35 miles per hour as high pressure starts to build in. It's going to be very, very cold for both Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm talking overnight lows in the 20s. Temperatures right now 63 in Greensboro and in Reedsville, as well as in High Point, 61 in Asheboro and in Siler City. Wind gusts over at the Raleigh-Durham Airport, 32 currently, some of the highest that we've seen, 39 in Winston-Salem, 33 in Greensboro. As we head into this afternoon, starting to cool down, going to be back into the 40s. Here's that full 7-day forecast. Going to be cooling off Tuesday and Wednesday with highs only in the 40s, mid-40s on Wednesday, starting to warm up later this week, upper 60s and lower 70s for the weekend.
Let's take a look at some of our top health headlines this afternoon. The American Heart Association and American College of Cardiology are updating some guidelines for how to manage lipids and cholesterol. The new guidelines focus on early intervention, emphasizing maintaining a healthy weight, getting exercise, getting enough sleep, avoiding tobacco, and taking cholesterol-lowering medicines. 1 in 4 adults has high LDL levels, or so-called bad cholesterol, which increases heart attack and stroke risk.
More than 40% of the signs of extreme pregnancy complications are missed. That's according to a study in Canada that found while the focus of monitoring for complications is during labor and delivery, that only accounts for 55% of cases. By extending the monitoring period for pregnancy complications, researchers say far more classes can be picked up.
1 in 3 parents believes their teenager could cause a car crash. Yikes. The University of Michigan poll shows many parents have concerns about the driving habits of their teenagers and young adults, with more than half of parents saying they have witnessed personally unsafe driving behavior by their child. But despite that, a whopping 96% of parents said their child's driving was average or better than others their age.
Protein is a critical part of a person's diet. It helps build muscles, repair cells, and create new ones. But experts say many people don't consume it the way they should. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why you need protein at every meal and has simple ways to work it into your diet throughout the day.
It should be on every plate. Protein is a critical building block for your body, but it needs to be part of every meal.
Spreading out your protein intake leads to the best outcome when it comes to muscle building and sustaining muscle and utilizing that protein.
Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says your daily protein quota shouldn't be filled in one sitting. Instead, she says to work it into snacks and meals throughout the day, and there are simple ways to do that.
First of all, you want to plan ahead. So the key to optimizing nutrition is planning.
That starts at the grocery store. Zumpano says think about quick and easy protein options for each meal. For breakfast, that could include Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, low-fat cheeses, milk, eggs, sausage, turkey bacon, or Canadian bacon.
Protein shakes are great for snacks or even as a meal replacement.
For lunch and dinner, consider chicken, turkey, fish, lean red meat, or plant-based proteins like lentils, dried beans, peas, nuts, and seeds.
I can't emphasize enough having a large variety of protein sources is really key. And I can't emphasize enough as having them available to you, readily available, so you're able to easily meet your needs.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Experts say having a variety of proteins to eat will maximize nutrient intake because different sources give you different nutrients. Plus, if you're eating only one kind of protein like red meat, that could lead to health problems like high cholesterol or increase your risk at developing heart disease.
The movie One Battle After Another won Best Picture at Sunday's 98th Academy Awards, and stars like Michael B. Jordan and Sean Penn took home Oscars. Bradley Blackburn has a recap of Hollywood's biggest night.
Before some of Hollywood's biggest stars, Conan O'Brien seized the crown, returning to the Oscars stage as host for the second year in a row. Real Oscars flew into the hands of stars like Jessie Buckley, who won Best Actress for her role in Hamnet.
I would like to dedicate this to the beautiful chaos of a mother's heart.
Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor for his dual roles in Sinners, his first Academy Award.
I stand here because of the people that came before me. Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx.
Sean Penn, notably absent from the ceremony, won Best Supporting Actor for his role in One Battle After Another. The film also received top awards for Best Picture and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson. K-pop Demon Hunters Golden got the gold statue for Best Original Song. History was also made as Sinners' Autumn Durald Arkapaw became the first woman to win the Oscar in cinematography. While a rousing performance of I Lied to You from Sinners featured ballet star Misty Copeland, the late Rob Reiner was honored by a stage full of stars led by Billy Crystal.
My friend Rob's movies will last for lifetimes.
And Barbra Streisand offered a rare performance for the late Robert Redford, her co-star in The Way We Were.
Oh yes, the way
Generations of stars glittering on one big night. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
One final check on your forecast. We do have a weather impact alert continuing for the next few hours with gusty showers. Likely that severe threat is diminishing. Likely just going to see those showers and some winds in the 25 to 40 mile per hour range. Significantly cooler the next few days. Tuesday and Wednesday highs only in the 40s, near 60 on Thursday. Morning freeze on the way for both Wednesday and Thursday. Warming up by Friday in the upper 60s. Low to mid 70s. We're back. Spring is back for the first day of spring coming up on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Low to mid 70s, and I will take it.
Yeah, same here. It has been truly a roller coaster. I mean, this is very classic North Carolina March.
No, it really is. That's why, you know, we have those nice weekends. You got to take advantage of it. Plan ahead, too.
Absolutely. Don't put those sweaters away too fast. All right, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you again tonight at 4. Take care and be safe.
And good afternoon to you. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you here on WFMY Plus as we continue to track the weather today. Obviously, there was a lot of interest with good reason, a decent chance or a good chance of severe weather across the area. But as we stand right now, at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, a lot of this is improving across our area. Glad to have you with us here, and thanks for counting on us for your weather coverage throughout the day. We've seen a couple of developments I want to pass along to you. The headline should be that our severe weather risk is a lot lower than it was earlier. Let me show you right now. This is the live radar around the area, and we'll track this together over the better part of the next 15 minutes or so. But what we're looking at across the Triad is definitely seeing a decent amount of still rain showers from place to place. But overall, no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings locally, at least not for our area. Very, very good news to see at the moment. You'll also see, kind of impossible to ignore this, but there is snow. There's snow over in Tennessee, Alabama, even parts of North Georgia. So crazy to think, but this is a very dynamic system. There's cold weather on one side, there's warm weather on the other. But overall, pretty impressive to kind of see what's going on around the area and how this is kind of moving from place to place. So this is going to continue to kind of be something that we watch through the rest of the afternoon. But overall, I'm pretty encouraged to see what we're seeing, and that's not too much in the way of severe weather for our area. And overall, our threat has really gone down. Looking at temperatures around the region right now, the temperature I should say is in the low 60s currently, and kind of the threshold you think about when it comes to storms or tornadoes in North Carolina. You've got to at least be above 60, and you've also got to have dew points that are equally that warm in the 60-degree range. We're cool now, and not terribly cool, but cool enough to make it difficult. This is what convinces me we're probably not going to have any more tornado warnings. At this point in time, the dew points, they have fallen off into the 50s. And unless these rise again later on this afternoon, we're not likely to have any more severe weather. Dew points in the 50s are a very good sign for our area. What that shows me is that the front is on the way. It's not here yet, but it's on the move at least, and something that's going to wipe away all of that warmth. We're seeing that cold front make its way right now through places like Georgia, Atlanta, Tennessee. This is the cold front that's going to be bringing us really cold air overnight tonight. Temperatures will be in the 20s actually. So we have some big changes on the way as this cold front kind of moves in to the area. It's not here yet, so that's why I say, never say never. Could some other downpours or lightning strikes or things like that, could they pop up the rest of the day? They sure could, because you still have that energy at least before the cold front arrives. But even having said that, I'm pretty encouraged, by what we're seeing so far. Some moderate to heavy rainfall still present though. This is in Greensboro at the moment, not doing much of anything in Burlington. Let's show you what the last couple of hours have looked like in Winston-Salem. Once the big line moved through with those tornado warnings earlier, it looks a lot calmer, a lot tamer. You can see some definition to the sky there. There's a little bit of clearing that's trying to develop. So that would be one thing we want to still keep our eye on, would be if any clearing is able to make its way back in, and some sunshine could kind of warm us up. Talk about a cold front though. I mean, this is wild. It's in the 40s in Atlanta, 30s in Nashville. This is the real deal. So there's that cold air kind of moving our way, and we are going to see that be really impacting us in a big way too. Over the next several hours, take a look at your temperatures as we go through the trend here on the 12-hour planner. We're in the 60s currently. It'll still be windy. I think it'll be quite windy later on this afternoon as the front goes by. Then we'll be dropping into the 50s and then the 40s by around 8 to 9 and 10 o'clock this evening. And then down we go into the 30s toward the overnight. In fact, it'll get colder than that. I'm expecting it to be in the upper 20s and mid 20s for most of us. So tomorrow morning does look to be a cold one for us. Lots of cold stuff for sure headed our way. And that could be a big impact, to the rest of our area. You think about the farmers, the fruit crops, things like that. Cold weather, not our friend this time of year with stuff already blooming. Let's take a look here. This is going to be your futurecast over the next several hours. We are looking ahead and seeing just some scattered rain, maybe a downpour or two. And then here's the front. So our model continues to keep us in the 50s through about 5 and 6 o'clock, 40s over here, 20s and 30s over here. After that, there comes the cold. Snow showers continue for the mountains. Tomorrow should be a dry day, but a very cold St. Patrick's Day for us. Temperatures only in the mid 40s for the afternoon, if you can believe that. And then overnight tomorrow gets even colder for us. What we watch for the rest of the day when it comes to severe weather, you know, it's interesting to me. We're not in charge of putting out these outlooks. These are created by the Storm Prediction Center at the National Weather Service. They're going to get a lot of questions about today, and I understand it because level 4 risks are supposed to be reserved for the worst of the worst kind of a days. And this has been far from the worst of the worst kind of a day. So a lot of questions coming their way. They even kept this at the noon update, which shocked me. I don't think it's warranted, to be honest with you. Level 3 remains across most of eastern North Carolina. We're in a level 2 and a level 1 right now, which I honestly still think is too high for our region. But that's kind of what they have going forward. And even if you look outside of our region, there's not much going on that scares you at the moment. So overall, this has been an underwhelming severe weather risk across the eastern United States. You say, why is that the case? What could have really been the cause of that? If you go over the last 24 hours or so, there were some signs that this would get a little too sloppy, a little bit too messy. For severe weather, you don't want to have competing factors at play. So we had this morning, we had a couple showers and lines ahead of the main line, and then the main line itself got here too quickly. So all of those things played into the fact of us not getting all that much weather. This was last evening around midnight. The line went through Nashville. Then this morning it was crossing the mountains. We had a little line in front of it, and then the actual line that came through with the tornado warnings. Well, it just didn't have as much punch because of the extra cloud cover that we saw and just competing for space and competing for all the other moisture. I do want to continue to take a look at our weather cameras, though, mostly just because I'm pretty curious to see what's going on in Tennessee. We're going to look over there at some of the snow that's falling, and I believe we have a couple cameras from just on the other side of the area. So we've got some in Knoxville that'll be worth taking a look at. So this is Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't see anything falling just yet. Oh, sure enough. I'm going to play this out for you. So this is, well, we already have it, I guess. Knoxville, Tennessee. Let's see what's going on. And truth be told, the ground's wet, but you have leaves on the trees and snow flurries falling from the sky. You can see that fellow walking by with a toboggan on his head. And so, yeah, that colder air is making itself known over there in Knoxville at the moment. So pretty impressive to go from, you know, all the warmth, the storm concerns to what you have now. So the rest of the day today, let's kind of keep an eye on things. Rain is going to remain in the area every now and then. Gusty winds going to be a factor too. We could still see some winds gusting around 25 to 40 miles per hour. And you want to make sure, just take it easy if you're on the roadways, because this is going to be a bit of an issue. Could still be sloppy around the area. This is all happening because of this cold front. As we said, that front leaves us behind later on this afternoon. Windy weather will continue, and colder weather will continue as well. We've talked a lot about that. Let's kind of mention, though, that the fact that the winds are going to continue to be with us for a little while longer. As I load it up for you. So our model does continue to have some strong winds for the rest of this afternoon, really even through about 6 to 7 o'clock. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's going to be a windy rest of the day for us, and it'll stay pretty breezy tonight, and it'll be pretty breezy tomorrow as well. So plan on a cold and windy day of weather for tomorrow, and that's kind of the plan of where we go from there. Thanks for keeping it with us for the weather coverage here throughout the morning. I knew there were some stressful hours. We did have a couple of storm reports around the area of some downed trees and some issues. Those tornado warnings largely don't seem to have produced tornadoes in our area, but we are starting to get in more and more reports of damage, especially in places like Forsyth County. So let's take a look here. This is one of the counties that we started to see tornado warnings earlier. Walkertown had some downed trees. Forsyth had some downed trees as well. Linville Road, a little bit of some issues there. And there were some power outages, of course, scattered about the area. So could have been a lot worse. We're thankful to be where we are right now. Still going to be cautiously watching between now and about 5 p.m. So keep it with us for any changes. But overall, you can rest a little bit easier now as that tornado threat has really gone down for the majority of our area. I'm going to leave you with some live radar, and we'll be back in about an hour with another update.